Welcome everyone to the City Council regular session, City of Lake City, November 17th, 2025. We will begin with the invocation and Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let us pray. Dear God, thank you for all creations. Look over this council. Help us make the decision that is pleasing in your sight. Look over our first responders, our armed forces, in our area and abroad. In God's name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Councilman. Ms. Sykes, will you please call the roll?
Councilmember Jernigan?
Present.
Councilmember Harris?
Present.
Councilmember Young? Here. Councilmember Carter?
Present.
Mayor Walker?
Present.
City Manager Rosenthal?
Here.
City Attorney Martin?
Here.
Chief Butler?
Ladies and gentlemen, the Lake City Council has opened its public meeting. Since 1968, the City Code has prohibited any person from making personal, impertinent, or slanderous remarks or becoming boisterous while addressing the City Council. Yelling or making audible comments from the audience constitutes boisterous conduct. Such conduct will not be tolerated. There is only one approved manner of addressing the City Council, and that is to be recognized and to speak from the podium. Failure to abide by the rules of decorum will result in removal from the meeting. We will now move on to approval of the agenda.
So approved, Mayor.
Mayor.
With one removal, and that's the National Baptist.
Number one.
Proclamation.
Number one.
So she's asking if you'll make the motion to exclude, to remove item 1 for a future meeting.
So approved, Mayor. With that,
Second.
We have a motion and a second for approval, excluding item number 1. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, like sign? All right, thank you. We will now move into public participation, general public participation, and we'll begin tonight with Mr. Todd Sampson.
Hello, Todd Sampson. I wanted to ask if there was any way on the next agenda one of you would sponsor a charter amendment ordinance requiring voter approval prior to activation of a municipal housing authority for the city of Lake City. I gave information that you should all get a copy of. I prepared an ordinance. I would like for y'all to take a look at it. I think it's only fair that in democratic society that we, the citizens, should have a vote on what's going on. And that way, this wouldn't prohibit, but it would say, without the citizen involvement on that charter, then going forward, you know, it would limit what you would do. Because I think one of the things that we're getting a little bit upset about is y'all's minds are made up before we get into the room for the big part. And so if you would listen to the people out here, the taxpayers, the people who are working every day, I think it could make a big difference. So why not give the voters a chance just to approve a charter amendment? If they say yes, then they want to vote on it. If they say no, then they don't want to vote on it. And so if one of you guys would step up and take that with the sponsorship, it could be on the next agenda. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sampson. Mr. Warren.
Mr. Sampson is no longer on the council, but he's still coming up with great ideas. We always don't see eye to eye, but we're both entrepreneurs in the same vein. Council, I would simply want to go back in time and remind this council, some that were here and some that I campaigned with, and remind them of a day in which the county commissioners endorsed me when the city had surplus property. I agreed to take all that surplus property and build houses for firefighters, law enforcement officers, and everything else. Totally free out my money. All it was a contribution to land, no cost to the city. Then Melinda Moses didn't want to do that because it was me, go figure. And then the second thing I said, well, fine. How about I take my own land, create subdivisions, And maybe the city would be willing to put some skin in the game because affordability was a thing about 2 years ago as well. Rent prices were soaring. There was talk about trying to get local government to put a cap on how much people can charge rent. I don't know if y'all remember those times or not, but that was a conversation that was floating. So when that was floating, I came back to the city and the county. I said, hey, I take my subdivision lots and I would build so many houses based on how much the county or the city contribute. And I do a 20-year lease agreement that the 4-bedroom houses with 2 baths will be locked in for $900, and the 3-bedroom, 2-bath will be locked in at $800. Rocky Ford supported me. I got 1 vote, and these guys all wanted this. At least they said they wanted it until I went and spent my money. And that was the best deal that you could have ever gotten on such a return on one's investment when it comes to affordability. But I got shunned in the face. However, I think that the private market needs to stay private. I don't think government problem is that y'all, one, don't listen to the local folks, the taxpayers who put you in office. That's the worst mistake that too many of y'all make. The second biggest mistake is y'all make is thinking that y'all know exactly what the people want when you don't, and staying out of the private sector. Government has no business in the private sector, has no business in the real estate. And I think the Trump administration is coming up with 2 key proposals that's going to make the private sector really go on a good spirit run. And I think that's going to be the 50-year mortgage plan. Freddie Mae and Fannie Mac just got rid of their no credit score policy, and then you got the portable mortgages. That means if you got a house and you pay 2%, you can go transfer that mortgage and buy another house at 2%, and they can't raise the mortgage rate on you. So there's great things coming down the pipeline. I'm asking government to stay out of it and listen to whatever the citizens tell you to do. They are the real leaders. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Warren. All right. And we also have Ms. Brenda Perry.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening.
Good evening.
As you know, my name is Brenda Perry.
Please make sure you speak into the microphone.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. My name is Brenda Perry. I am a taxpayer. I have a thing that I wanted to do when I was talking to my city councilman, and he told me to come. I am not trying to take nothing, but everybody is doing food banks for those that has lost stamps and SNAP. I want to do something for Jamaica. I want to, several people told me there's no one doing it, but I want to do, and I would love to see if I can get some backup outside my city councilman. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Perry. All right. We will move on to, we'll close open public comment. We'll now move on to the consent agenda. If anybody would like to,
Mr. Mayor, move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
we have a motion and a second. I'm going to open up public comment on the consent agenda now. Mr. Warren? You're the only one, okay. No further public comments, so I'll go ahead and close that. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on the council? Hearing none, Ms. Sykes, will you please call the roll? Sorry.
All right. We have Mr. Carter,
Yay.
Mr. Jernigan,
Yes.
Ms. Young?
Yes.
Ms. Harris?
Yes.
Mayor Walker?
Yes. Thank you. We'll now move into our quasi-judicial hearings and turn it over to Mr. Martin for our open quasi-judicial hearings tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Council members, tonight you have 2 matters before you that must be considered and voted on by the council in a quasi-judicial manner. Those 2 items are, upon first reading, ordinance number 2025-2338, which is an ordinance amending the future land use plan map pursuant to application CPA 2510 by Richard Cole and Daniel Craps as agents for Price Creek LLC, the property owner. And then upon first reading, ordinance number 2025-2339, an ordinance which is the corresponding companion ordinance to the prior ordinance I just read, amending the official zoning atlas pursuant to application Z2512, an application submitted by Richard Cole and Daniel Craps as agents for Price Creek LLC, the property owner. The purpose of the following procedure is to ensure an applicant provides a complete presentation of their request to the City Council so that they receive a fair and full hearing on their application, and any decision by the council is based on evidence presented. All public testimony will be taken under oath, and everyone testifying will be subject to cross-examination. Additionally, all documents and exhibits shall be entered into evidence. The giving of opinion testimony is limited to experts, and closing arguments will be limited to the evidence of record. To accomplish this, the city, the applicant, and the City Council and other interested parties will be recognized in the following order. First, we'll hear presentations from the city, followed by the applicant, and then any party interveners. Following this, we'll hear public comment. If someone is speaking for a group of 6 or more people, that individual would have 5 minutes to speak to the council on behalf of their group. Otherwise, a participant would have 3 minutes. Following presentations and public comments, we would then move to cross-examinations by the parties or party interveners. And then if the mayor allowed it, he could allow any additional response by a participant to ensure fairness. Following all of this, if there are questions from the council, at that time we would allow the council to ask questions of the participants and staff and the applicant. After the council has asked any questions it may have, the applicant, followed by city staff, may make any final arguments or presentations related solely to the evidence of record. I'll then advise the council as to the law and necessary findings, and the council would then deliberate and vote. All persons have the right through the mayor to ask questions of staff or other speakers, to seek clarification of comments made by staff or other speakers, and respond to comments or presentations of staff or other speakers. All people presenting written materials to the council for consideration must ensure a copy of those materials is provided to the city clerk for inclusion in the city council's record of proceedings and official minutes. While the city council welcomes comments from all persons with an interest in this proceeding, Florida law requires the council's decision in quasi-judicial actions be supported by competent and substantial evidence presented to the city council during the hearing on the application. Competent and substantial evidence is evidence a reasonable mind would accept as adequate to support a conclusion. There must be a factual basis on the record to support opinion testimony from both expert and non-expert witnesses, and people presenting testimony may support their testimony by relying on factual information provided by city staff, the applicant, or other factual information included in the city staff report. At this time, I need to inquire of each council member individually if they've received any ex parte communications involving any of these matters, and if so, to please disclose them. Starting at the end of the dais. Ms. Young? Have you had any ex parte communications?
I have not.
Thank you. Mr. Carter?
I have. Yes, I have spoken to several members of the audience here and outside of here. No, they do not affect my ability to be objective.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Jernigan? No. Okay. Ms. Harris?
No.
And Mr. Walker?
I have very similarly, but no.
So it would not affect your ability to render an impartial
Yes
decision?
to the first question, no to the second
Okay.
question. Yes, sir.
At this time, I'm going to collectively swear in anybody here that wishes to offer testimony or otherwise speak to these ordinances. So if anybody's planning on speaking to these ordinances or presenting, could you please stand and raise your right hand to take an oath? Do you swear that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? All right, thank you. Council members, you have before you proposed ordinance 2025-2338 on first reading, which states, an ordinance of the City of Lake City, Florida, amending the future land use map of the City of Lake City Comprehensive Plan as amended, relating to an amendment of more than 50 acres of land pursuant to an application by Richard Cole and Daniel Craps as agents for Price Creek LLC, a Florida limited liability company, the property owner of said acreage, under the amendment procedures established in sections 163.3161 through 163.3248 Florida statutes as amended, providing for changing the future land use classification from county residential very low density to city industrial of certain lands within the corporate limits of the City of Lake City, Florida, making findings of fact in support thereof, providing severability, repealing all ordinances in conflict, and providing an effective date. At this time, Mr. Angelo, could you please introduce, summarize, and present the city staff's analysis of the proposed ordinance?
All right, good afternoon, everyone. This is CPA 25-10. So this is a future land use amendment for parcel number 07481-003, has a current future land use of residential very low county. And the petition CPA 2510 is a request to change that future land use from the residential very low county to industrial city. And you will see that the parcel is surrounded by the following land use designations. To the north, it has a land use of industrial county and residential very low county. To the east, it has industrial county, and to the south is agricultural county, and to the west is residential very low county. This is a map of the proposed area, and being the proposed site here, you will have residential or industrial wrapping from here all the way down to here, and then this is all agricultural down through here, and then you got residential in through here and right in through here. As you will see, there is a wetland that runs right through the center of the property. It runs right down through here. This does make its way eventually out to some of the tributaries and out towards Alligator Lake. So some of the staff comments and the planning department is this is a large-scale amendment, which means once this hearing is done, if it is approved at this hearing, the next step then would be to go to the state for review, and then it would come back to the city for a final adoption, and that is because it's over 100 acres. Customer service said they will need a tap application, utility plans, and that was submitted. This would have to be done at the site plan review. And then Swanee River Water Management said there is no Swanee River Water Management permit that has been obtained for this private property, and an ERP permit would need to be applied for. So comprehensive plan consistency analysis. The property is located on a major collector, which is County Road 245, and this is consistent with policy I.1.1 and objective 2.2 of the city comprehensive plan. The potable water system and sanitary sewer system is anticipated to meet or exceed the adopted level of expectation. And so the city does have adequate capacity for the site. And this is consistent with policy I.1.3 and policy I.3.1 and of the city comprehensive plan. And the property is contiguous to a residential zoning district on the northwest corner of the property. Based on section 4.17.10 of the city land development regulation, this area would require a 25-foot buffer or landscape buffer between the residential and the industrial. And this is consistent with policy I.6.5 of the city of Lake City Comprehensive Plan. So therefore, city staff has reviewed the comprehensive plan and has determined that the comprehensive plan amendment CPA 2510 is consistent with the City of Lake City Comprehensive Plan. And our planning staff is that the site is contiguous to a residential, agricultural, and industrial, and that the site is located on an arterial collector. There is a wetland, which no wetland can have a structure within 35 feet, which is stricter than what the Swanee River Water Management District is. And then in section 13.12.5.2 of the Land Development Regulation states that rezonings and comp plan amendments do not reserve capacity because they are too conceptual and consequently do not allow an accurate assessment of the public facilities. That's why it would be done at a site plan phase. And that's it.
All right, Mr. Angelo, are you moving the application and your presentation into the record?
Yes, I am.
All right, thank you. Before we move on to the applicant's presentation, I noted that there were a number of people that stood up, but I only have 3 requests to speak. If you're intending on speaking and have not submitted a request to address the mayor and council, there are forms in the back of the room on the table. If you could fill one out and hand it to one of the officers at either end of the dais, they can pass it along to me.
Mr. Martin, will you quickly read those names? So
So the
there's no
3 that I
confusion.
have are Jonathan Akins, Julie Bassett, who is speaking also on behalf of Patricia, I think, Hapner, is it Peter Hapner, Sally Boyette, Virginia Nettles, Pam Griffith, Patrick Omer, and Sherry Omer. And then I also have Sam Bassett.
And then Mr. Warren is also signed up.
Oh, okay, Mr. Warren. All right, if there's any, just give them to the officers at the end of the dais and they'll get them over to you. All right, thank you. At this time, we'll hear a presentation from the applicant.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. My name is Patrick Krachowski. I'm an attorney representing Price Creek LLC. We don't have a formal presentation really because everything's in the application and in the staff report. Just for some context, I've been doing this for about 26 years. Actually used to sit in a seat very similar to Mr. Martin, serving as a city attorney, handling land use, zoning, comp plan amendments, future land use maps, things like that. As Mr. Martin reminded you, and I certainly am not trying to overstep, but you make your decision here based on competent, substantial evidence. That's the rule. That's the law. That's what's in the city staff report. That's what was in the application. The reason I don't have a formal presentation is because the city staff report goes through each element, and each element of the application is consistent with the comp plan. You do have, as mentioned, some adjacent residential, some of which is more than 1,600 feet away. We will, of course, as mentioned in the staff report, comply with the buffer requirements. That's 25 feet between the industrial and the residential. And for the wetlands, it's 35 feet. That's part of what's in the application. That's really not up for debate. I just wanted to remind of that. And this is the first step. If you approve, this goes on to the state for their review because it's a larger piece of property than can just be handled at the local level. So that's where we are. We agree with the staff report. We support the staff report. We appreciate the work being done there. We've talked with staff to answer any questions they may have. And our client's ready to get this property back in action, get some jobs out there and get it moving. I'm here to answer any questions. Mr. Stubbs is also here if you have any technical questions about the application. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Krachowski. This time I didn't have anyone indicate that they were seeking party intervenor status. Is there anyone that's seeking party intervenor status? Seeing none, we will move on to public comment, starting with individuals and then moving on to the two that I have seeking to speak on behalf of groups. The first individual with 3 minutes is Jonathan Akins.
Good evening, I'm Jonathan Akins.
And did you take an oath earlier, Mr. Akins?
I did.
Okay, thank you. State your address for the record.
442 Southeast County Road 245A.
All right, thank you.
I appreciate the opportunity to address the council. I've lived on this farm all my life, and I've raised cattle here for 31 years. My dad started raising cattle here when he was, or in 1977, and it's been a way of life for us. We've had a pretty good quality of life there. This piece of property is a very ecologically sensitive piece of property. It's a watershed that plumes into a creek that flows south into Alligator Lake, which ultimately winds up in your groundwater. And it also serves as a very critical buffer between existing residential and industrial that's been there, I agree, for a long time, but the residential has been there longer. And the people here, just a portion of the folks that this will adversely impact, and those folks would probably be here if they understood that the traffic impact and the impact to their quality of life, their property values as well. As far as me, I raise cattle, and it looks to me like what I've seen, it is a pretty good sized project, and I am immediately south of it. I mean, right there. So it looks like, you know, we're going to have lights running all night, noise pollution. And, you know, that affects cattle. I mean, cattle need dark for breeding, and the light will affect their forage behaviors and their breeding behaviors. So in their objective, objective I3 of their comprehensive plan, it says it won't have an adverse effect on adjacent properties, but it will. So I just want to ask you to please consider the folks that this is going to impact, and it will. And I just ask you to consider that people over profit. You know, University of Florida says we're going to lose 2.2 million acres of farmland by 2070 in the state of Florida. Agriculture is a big part of our economy, and I just ask you to please consider.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Next is Sam Bassett, and then following Mr. Bassett, we have, having a hard time, is it Boyette? Okay. Mr. Bassett?
Sam Bassett. I live at 335 Southeast Price Creek. I live approximately 1 mile from the proposed rezoning of this land. Our community has been fighting against this rezoning going back 7 years, back to 2018. And because the county knew it was not in the best interest of Lake City and the county, it's already been denied before. I'm not sure how this parcel was even annexed to the city to begin with. This occurred when many of us were in the hospital during COVID, during 2021, and the meetings were not open to the public. So that's where we are today. Columbia County has already made the perfect place for industry, the mega industrial park north. A lot of money has been spent, and it should be used appropriately as people have voted. Don't put our neighborhoods and our farms that people have worked so hard to build, our homes, our farms, that we want to protect our investments. It's not our job to help the investors. Mr. Cole and his partner, Mr. Craps, they made a bad deal. They made a bad business deal, and here we are for years. Years later, we're still fighting this because they want to make a profit. It's not about bringing jobs. It's about, they say, it has capacity. We can rezone it. Just because you can do something doesn't mean you should. Absolutely not. Would you want industry in your backyard? We have farms. This is agriculture. This is community. There's a trailer park, 25 feet. 25 feet. What is 25? What's 35 feet from a water hole? We're going to destroy our ecosystem. We're going to destroy our community because one person, two people, two greedy men want to make a profit. The people are saying no to this. I mean, if you had to buy the beef from these farmers, would you want the beef next to industrial plant? I'm just asking. Do you think the city of Lake City and the county should work together? I do, because comprehensive plans should not work against each other. Taxpayers have helped fund the infrastructure surrounding this North Florida mega industrial park, and it needs occupants. We need jobs. That's where it should go. This applicant states the city, as part of the development review process, shall review the relationship of the proposed development to the existing comprehensive plans of adjacent local governments. We have spoken on this. We have said no. They're going to have to put a road into this. We're going to add all this utilities. Oh, it's possible to do, but you're going to destroy our community over it. The industrial park is north. The industry is on 100. What is being proposed here is in the middle of our communities. Please look inside your hearts. Please make a good political decision, a godly decision, and say no. To the will of the people says no.
Thank you, Mr. Bassett. Ms. Boyette?
It was actually supposed to be me.
Oh, okay. Mr. Boyette, sorry.
My name is Greg Boyette. I live just south of the property. I've been there since 1984, and I have seen the area grow and grow and grow, and it hasn't been a problem until the last few years. The amount of truck traffic out is a traffic hazard. I personally tried to get a guy out of a burning car about a year ago, right here in this area we're talking about. And I'm really concerned about the traffic volume and the safety. Some other people are going to be killed. That one guy did it was one other one. And I drive on the road every day, and it's dangerous. The road is in not very good shape. If you add more truck traffic, it's even going to be worse. A lot of trucks that have come off of 90 are using it for a shortcut down to Ellisville, and it's really turned into a problem. And it's, and I was in the trucking business. I have been in the trucking business. I stand against trucks, but the roads are not very wide. The road is rough. If you don't believe it, just drive out there and see for yourself, and you'll be surprised. And that's one issue. Another thing is that it's a very big deal. We're talking about many acres. They're going, this is not like adding on 2 acres. I'm talking about a big piece of property. And I'm really concerned about the what's going to happen. I fly for a living, and I've been out there. I remember you used to see fish beds in the water out there. You don't see them anymore, and it's just not a good thing. Please take a look at it. It's what decision you make is going to last. It's going to affect us for many years. The people that are living out there, you're going to make the decision and go home. We're going to be stuck with it. There's 2 areas, one off of Plant Street. There's over 75 families in there. I went through and counted myself. Also, off of Sharon Lane, there's 75 there too. And I quit counting at 75 because I didn't want nobody to think, oh, he's making the numbers up. That many are there. It's actually more than that. And there's also a street on the cover that's got 25 houses. So this is a big deal. Take your time. If you need to go out and see what we're looking at, just look at a piece of paper. I think you'd bode well to do that. And another quick issue is we're going from to totally industrial from what? Low density agriculture? That's a big step. We're not talking about moving one. We're going way up. It's going to affect a lot of people. And I just know the people that live out there. I've been there a long time, and it's really going to mess it up. So there's an implications here. I don't think that you've got any substantial evidence that you need this. And that's what I got to say. Just if we've got some time to go out there and have somebody show the conditions of the bridges. So anyhow, this is not we're not adding 1.5 acres onto a gas station. So anyhow, just take it serious. That's why y'all are here. And y'all are to help look out for the general public.
Thank you, Mr. Boyd. Next is Pam Griffith. Ms. Griffith, if you can state your name and address for the record, please.
Pam Griffith, 497 Southeast Sharon Lane. I haven't been here as long as all these people. We came from Northern Illinois, and we're in a nice country air, nice country atmosphere. We have deer that came in our backyard. We had wild turkey came in our backyard. We don't get that where I came from. Don't take it away, please.
Thank you, Ms. Griffith. Now we will move to people who are speaking on behalf of groups of 6 or more, and they would have 5 minutes each to speak. And I have first Ms. Laurie Atkins. Or Akins, I'm sorry. If you could correctly state your name for the record and address, please.
My name is Laurie Akins. I live at 442 Southeast County Road 245A.
Okay, and do you have the list of names that you're speaking on behalf of?
I do not. It got turned in.
All right, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay. At the Planning and Zoning meeting, Mr. Stubbs indicated that the neighboring property owners knew when they bought their property that there was industry in the area. Well, so did Price Creek LLC. When Price Creek LLC bought this property, their intentions were to have it rezoned for residential high density. When that didn't pass due to drainage issues with the property, then and only then did they attempt to have it rezoned as industrial. At the county level, this was then denied twice to rezone industrial. So when those plans didn't work at the county level, a decision was made to make a deal to voluntarily annex the property into the city of Lake City on April 19th, 2021. In Section 4 of that agreement, it states, upon completion of the voluntary annexation, the city shall classify the property as either the same zoning classification as that found to currently exist with Columbia County, Florida, or as industrial pursuant to the city's land development regulations. Under Florida state law, it mandates public review for land use changes, which local ordinances are required to follow. This legislation dictates that a municipality's governing body must hold at least 2 advertised public hearings on any comprehensive plan amendment. Rezoning particularly large scale is considered to be implementing the comprehensive plan and is therefore subject to these public standards. Price Creek LLC has advertised for years now. Per agreement with the City of Lake City, property can be zoned industrial. The City of Lake City has agreed in writing and did not publicly notice or bring this before the board before entering into an agreement. Any agreement or discussion of this sort indicates pre-approval and is a clear violation of the Sunshine Law. And we, the people, will be contacting the Attorney General of the state of Florida. Price Creek LLC is trying to use a backdoor to skirt past the will of the people, and the City of Lake City is facilitating them. This council must consider the best interest of the entire community, and we again are saying no. There are checks and balances in place in this county, in this country, to prevent any single office or person from having too much power. This is a government overreach, running over the will of the people for the benefit of a few. Not only is it unethical, it's illegal. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Akins. And the next speaker on behalf of a group is Julie Bassett. If you could state your name and address for the record, please. Thank
May I
you.
pass out exhibit first?
Yes, please.
Julie Bassett, 335 Southeast Price Creek Loop, Lake City.
Thank you, Ms. Bassett.
Thank you.
Where's the clicker for the, and I had a, is Robert here? I'm sorry, where'd he go? Can I get my PowerPoint up? Oh, I'm sorry, it's right there. Yeah. Price Creek LLC acquired the subject parcel in 2005 for approximately $1.3 million. Currently, it's listed for sale at approximately $2.76 million. As others have stated, it's been the attempted rezone several times, twice attempts for industrial. It's been turned down both times with much public input in those two. There's approximately 84 DEP cleanup sites in a 5-mile radius. And near the subject parcel, just to the northeast, let's see. Whoops. The little pointer button, is that center button? Is that? So right there's already got a cleanup site right beside it. The subject is a natural buffer between industry on State Road 100 and Price Creek residents' rural residential agricultural way of life. The reason why many of us moved here. So please deny this rezoning request and keep the subject parcel residential very low density with 1 dwelling units per acre. Again, as you can see, there's many homes to the northwest there, to the west, there's agricultural, and homes to the south, agricultural and homes. You know, we live right down in this little area. So we ask you, the council, to hold the line, keep it residential. it was planned this way for a reason. It's not a natural progression to allow urban sprawl when there are other areas for industry away from homes and agricultural. If the applicant's logic is that it's okay because there's industry adjacent, where are you ever going to draw the line? As you know, because the city council's been involved in it, that we've got the North Florida Mega Industrial Park just 5 miles from this location. It has great roadways already in place. It's not on a little county road. It's got a rail spur that, a lot of money's been spent on that. We've got, it's shovel ready. There's water and wastewater that the city and county are partners with in that. There's natural gas. That's City of Lake City natural gas. There's a lot of investment that the city has already placed in that mega park. It's been years in the making. 2,622 shovel-ready acres. There's been, environmental permitting, is rezoning, all the appropriate things that's got it in place to go. The mega park is truly a community effort involving city, county, and many partners with the benefit of the community as a whole in mind, unlike this proposal. This was a thank you. This is from the website. A special thank you to our site partners. City of Lake City Council members, right there. As was stated earlier by Mr. Angelo, you've got water running through there. This water goes to Price Creek. Price Creek goes to Alligator Lake. Alligator Lake goes to the Ichetucknee River system, which that goes to wells, to our drinking water. You allow industry right here. They have a spill. Oops, we spilled. Do. Alligator Lake, Ichetucknee Springs. Your wells, my wells. We don't want that. This was Alligator Lake just last week. I was just taking a stroll on my break from work. It's empty right now because it periodically goes into the sinkhole. Down through the sinkhole, no water there. That goes down into the ground, into the water system. In their application, the applicant has not met the requirements. The applicant hasn't shown this request to be in conformance with the county comprehensive plan. It's the responsibility of this council to plan growth responsibly. The applicant hasn't proven it won't affect many of these things listed on this list. Again, the applicant hasn't addressed these issues. Letter M, whether the proposal change will constitute a grant of special privilege to an individual owner as contrasted with the public welfare. This proposal change will constitute a grant of special privilege to an individual owner as contrasted with the public welfare. That's the only purpose of this rezoning. This location does not have public infrastructure. The city and county have invested resources for utilities at the North Florida Mega Industrial Park. Where are the environmental studies? How can we know what potential impacts are if we do not know the intended use? The applicant's data hasn't been updated since 2018 with their application with the county. Protect our homes. This is us. Thank you for listening.
Ms. Bassett, and do you wish to move this into the record?
I do.
Thank you. Or is there anyone else that wishes to speak on this matter?
Mr. Warren was signed up for it. Just a reminder.
Mr. Warren?
I'm a hood boy, and I normally don't interject when entrepreneurs are trying to do the entrepreneur thing because I'm an entrepreneur myself. I consider myself to be a capitalist, and I'm very proud of it. But there's two types of capitalists that I've learned over my lifetime. There's a capitalist that's called a compassionate capitalist. And that's who I consider myself to be, where I move in a direction where I look at things, no matter what the profit is, I consider the people in the surrounding areas first, most importantly. And then you have capitalists that are G capitalists, they're greedy capitalists. They don't care about the people. All they care about is the profit margins. And that's what I'm kind of hearing here. The reason I'm speaking to this issue for several reasons. One, I'm a black guy that was redlined, that lived in a community where I didn't want railroad tracks. but I had to inherit those. I didn't want a power plant, but I had to inherit those things because people were putting things in the community where people didn't have any choice and they were just dumping things where other people didn't want them. And so I can sympathize, and in some cases I can empathize with that. And just because something is legal doesn't mean it's right. I take very serious issue with the report that was given from Growth Management. I love Robert. Robert is a great guy. He's very passionate and energetic. But when you start putting things on the screen, and you sat on the Planning and Zoning Board as well, Mr. Carter, and you start quoting 1.6 and 1.3, and you start saying that you got potable water, and you know that the city has the cup and the capacity to cover whatever project go there, that's bullshit, because we don't know what project is going there. So that whole analysis from the Growth Management is skewed because it's not accurate. It's misleading. You cannot ever say, unless you have the proposed project that's going there and how much water they're going to use, you cannot say that it meets or exceed what the city can put there as far as the cup is concerned, which is consumption use permit. You can't do that. That should have never happened, and someone needs to make sure that doesn't happen again. All right, so intended use has not been made clear. I own thoroughbred horses. I now own cows. I've had a little luck beyond my drug activity and legal lifestyle that has afforded me to be able to buy some things in the agriculture world. And I'm proud of it. And I do understand how these different things affect agriculture life. These people have a way of life. And you all have an opportunity to preserve their way of life. If it wasn't good enough for the county, and this guy here was one of the county people that was on that county staff at the time that said no to it, now he's a private consultant and saying yes to it, don't annex things into the city because the county says no. Don't be an scapegoat. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Warren. Is there anyone else? Anyone else, Mr. Mayor?
No, that was the only other person that had signed up for the item.
At this time, does the applicant wish to respond to any presentations by the city or comments from the public? You may also cross-examine any of the participants at this time.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity. I'll be brief. I just wanted to remind, this is in the staff report, remind the council that this property is within the city's urban service area. As was also addressed in the staff report, water management district permits will be required, so environmental resource permit, any consumptive use permit would have to be applied for and meet those criteria and be issued. A site development permit from the city will be required. So we're here, this one is strictly an amendment to your comp plan. We're not talking about where there'll be lights on all night or what kind of discharges. We're not at that stage yet. So I just wanted to remind the council of that. Traffic has also been addressed in the staff report. You haven't received any expert evidence contrary to that. The question in front of you for this particular application is not, can industrial go somewhere else or should it go somewhere else? The question is, does the application as submitted comply with the city's code, meet the comprehensive plan? That's what the staff report says it does. Mr. Angelo is your expert. He works for you. He's come to that determination based on the information presented to him, and he's presenting it to you. I appreciate the comments. They're all part of this process, but what's in front of you satisfies the code, is consistent with the comp plan, and that's what we're asking for approval. So I appreciate the time.
Thank you, Mr. Kurchowski. At this time, does the city wish to respond? Mr. Angelo?
So I'll make this kind of brief, and I want to kind of just, set a tone for what the next steps would be if this was approved, if it was denied, and kind of what that, would look like. I know a lot of the public doesn't understand the rezoning process and then into the site plan process and kind of what is covered and where. And so in a rezoning, and you'll look at the land use and then you'll rezone it. At this one, because it's a large scale, this meeting, if it's approved, will go on to the state for review. And if it's denied, then it stops there and it's done with the rezoning. And so if it goes on to the state and we see from the state review that there's some things that we missed or there's things that the state sees we'll have one more hearing before this is rezoned to look at that data and be able to examine it and make the decision, and then come back to this board and present that information to the board. And from that point, once it is rezoned, if it goes through all that, then it will go into a site plan phase where it will be designed and have to be permitted through Swanee River Water Management, along with going through site plan approvals through the P&Z board, and then it will go through that process. And then at that point, we will look at a lot of your capacity, your transportation, the entrances. This is on a county road, and so the access onto 245 will have to go, that permitting will have to go through the county. And they'll have to get the county's approval to have access to that road. That will all be done as part of the submittal package for a site plan. So I just say that because I wanted the board to understand and for the community to understand kind of what that process would look like. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Angelo. Do any members of the council have questions for the applicant, hearing participants, or city staff? And Mr. Mayor, I'll turn this over to you to manage.
Thank you, Mr. Martin. Any questions from anybody? I have a question. Yeah, Mr. Journey.
No, you go ahead and ask yours.
I'll let you go.
To the, I guess Daniel Craps, and I guess you're representing. Yes,
Mr.
you can come.
Mr. Kruczewski.
So, I mean, I can't tell you what land to buy and what land not to buy. I can't tell you what to put on your land, as long as you meet the qualifications. But your intentions was to take away from the residents there something that they have been around for years. I heard somebody say something about cows, and I heard somebody say something about traffic, and you got veterans out there that's probably disabled. So I'm just wondering, what was your intentions when you bought that land from the individual who sold it to you? So I'm just not understanding. If you know that this is going to be a major issue and cause problems to the constituents that live out there in that area, why do that? Even though I looked at it, I did everything I can to see exactly where you was coming from. You're consistent with the policy. You got all these things in order. All the boxes are checked. Every last one of them are checked. That I'm aware of. Anyway. However, is it any way possible that you can, maybe meet with the constituents that live in that particular area? When the guy who raised farms, that's his way of life. Farm animals, that is his way. So I'm just wondering why would you or anybody take that away from those individuals?
Thank you, sir, and I appreciate the question. I think I can't speak to Mr. Craps' intentions when he bought it. I wasn't around when he bought it. I wasn't in his head. While I do appreciate and respect your question, I would say this is private property. We're not taking away anything from anyone. We're not taking anyone else's property or their right to use their property. Mr. Craps and his partner are simply trying to get to a place where they can develop and put their property to its highest and best use. I think in the past, again, I wasn't here, and that's not what we're here to talk about. I think in the past he tried to rezone it for a different purpose, a residential purpose that was met with opposition and was defeated, and he has since waited, and now this is an opportunity for him to develop this piece of property that he bought, that's privately held, and is not taking away anyone else's property or their rights to use that property. I understand that what you do on your property may impact your neighbor. I get that. I encounter that every day in my job and what I do for the clients or the local governments that I serve as a counselor to them. That's why you have rules and regulations. That's why you have a comprehensive plan. That's why you have a zoning code. People can come in and they can change the use of their property if they meet those criteria. That's really all he's trying to do here. He's not trying to take away anything from anybody else. He's trying to put his property to use, get some use out of it, get some jobs on it, and get it moving. I hope I answered your question.
Yeah, that did.
I have a question about the utilities. Is there utilities necessary for industrial use? Based on Mr. Brown?
Mr. Mayor, I need to administer an oath.
Yes,
Mr. Brown.
please.
Mr. Brown, do you swear to tell the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. If you could introduce yourself for the record and your position.
My name is Steve Brown. I'm the Executive Director of Utilities for the City of Lake City. Currently, this property is not set up for industrial from a utility standpoint. There is a small water line that runs down the main road. In comparison, it's a 4-inch. To run the mega site, which I've heard a couple times, we run 12 inches in there. Utilities can be upwards of $1 million a mile, depending on what we're putting in the ground. If you were to go south from this property, there's a 20-inch, about 4 miles down the road. So yes, it would be very expensive to try and put utilities to this piece of property if it had a big industrial user.
Does that qualify? I mean, for an objective answer, what is the qualification to say that it has site-ready utilities for the intended use?
So a lot of times when we're doing stuff like this, we'll look at the developer to help contribute to the utility. In the case that you've heard tonight, that as far as the city county working together, that's the reason for that, is because of the cost. So there is not necessarily a qualifying factor. The gentleman, that Mr. Warren, was exactly right. Without them telling us what they're going to build, we have no idea. So this is really a shot in the dark. But as of right now, we cannot service anything more than just a regular restroom, something to that component.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. My question for Mr. Kaczewski or Mr. Stubbs would be, what is the intended use? Is there...
Well, there's no like set in stone intended use, but it could be warehouse, storage, distribution, those uses. Now, a little bit about utilities and industrial. Industrial uses a lot less water and sewer than commercial or residential. Also, when you're looking at comp plan and land development amendments, you look at is there available capacity? And what I think the confusion is here, there is plenty of capacity to serve that development. We did a concurrency analysis for the water and sewer, and based upon the worst case scenario, industrial, y'all still have the capacity of service. Running the lines is what you're referring to. That has to be burdened by the developer. So if this is rezoned to industrial, it would be the burden of the developer to pay and extend those lines and get the permitting and the approval of the city to do so. So again, that's kind of a moot point, because depending on what, like you said, depending on what does go there, depends on what size line is going to be put in. So once you get to the development phase, which would be whether it be a industrial subdivision or an industrial development, we would know what sizing of the lines based upon the use of the industrial. If you have a warehouse, you may not have much use. I mean, you may have some restrooms and some water, and that's it. But, if you have a mini storage, you probably won't have any water or sewer use. So it just really depends on the type of facility that goes there.
Can you speak to the breadth of use of the property zone if it's zoned industrial, right? So it can go from everything from what to what?
I don't have a complete list, but, general warehouse, distribution, manufacturing indoors, that general industrial is permissible. Now, what is not permissible without a very extensive review process by the city is those uses allowed by special exception. And those would be your heavy industrial uses like scrap yards, asphalt or concrete batch plants, outdoor manufacturing, anything that creates a loud noise or creates a lot of sound or may be disrupting to the neighbors. all those require a special exception review process, which has a special scrutiny that has to meet. So again, if you had anything that was proposed that was a special exception, this board would have the authority to say that's not compatible with the adjacent residential uses.
That concludes my questions. Any other questions? Mr. Martin.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This time we'll move on to final arguments and comments from the parties. Final arguments must be related to evidence presented on the record. We'll start with the applicant. Okay, the applicant's waiving. Mr. Angelo, do you have any final comments, or are you waiving? All right, Mr. Angelo is waiving. The decision of the council should be based only on evidence provided by sworn witnesses. In addition, the application may be adopted if it preserves the internal consistency of the city's comprehensive plan, complies with applicable state laws, and does not confer special privileges or rights on any person. At this time, the council may discuss the application and testimony and any findings of fact upon which it wishes to base a decision, and adopt proposed ordinance 2025-2338 following an appropriate motion and second.
Thank you, Mr. Martin. We'll now move into council comments, questions. Mr. Carter.
Mr. Mayor, I'm going to attempt for a moment to walk on a tight wire. Having previously served multiple years on the Planning and Zoning Board, and with a pretty solid understanding of our LDR and comprehensive plan, it is my belief that this does meet the qualifications for what they're asking for at this point in the process. The LDR, the comprehensive plan, does not require that it is shovel-ready and hookup ready. It requires that it is accessible. It is accessible. And if the developer decides to develop something, they're going to have to help foot the bill to become, to get on the utilities. I think that a lot of the concerns of the citizens here are very, very important and perfectly good concerns. I also trust our site review process. I trust our special exception process. And more importantly, I think a lot of these issues could be much better determined by the state review, which would require us to pass this on first reading. It's sent to state review. It's going to take 30 to 90 days, I think, for us to get back the state's review. The state really goes in depth on this sort of stuff, and it is very possible, due to a myriad of reasons, that the state comes back and says they don't think this is correct, or that this has this issue, this issue, this issue, which would allow us at that point to determine, first of all, whether or not to pass it on second reading. And if it's passed on second reading, again, it's going to go through a whole site review process. The city is going to have to approve or deny whatever they propose to us. I think it is well within our rights and to assuage concerns of citizens to ask for specific buffers, to ask for rules with lighting, because there is a direction in which it's industrial and there's a direction in which it's residential. If there is large-scale lighting, we can ask that lighting be facing directly towards the current industrial park. I think it's important to note that there is currently a road stubbed and ready in the industrial park that it is touching. I would imagine almost any use I could conceive of for this space would choose to use the industrial park and entrance onto 100 over trying to go on the smaller county roads. I also imagine it very unlikely that the county would approve access to those roads without substantial investment into improving those roads by, again, the applicant. So at this point in the process, I don't see a way that we have a right to deny this application. I think we need to hear the state report. And again, I think that we have a process that allows us to attempt to assuage their concerns. So that's my opinion on it.
Thank you, Mr. Carter.
Yes.
Mayor and council,
Ms. Harris.
I cannot in good conscience agree with what Carter just said. It's hard for me to say that I agree with Mr. Warren on this, because in certain neighborhoods, you put certain things there and you don't like them there. So I know in District 10, we have a junkyard in the center of town. I don't like that. So I would not push that off to somebody else and say it needs to be out there by their farm. I just wouldn't, I totally disagree with the city, with them using it for that. And especially when we don't know what they're planning on doing with it. I just can't agree with that.
Thank you, Ms. Harris. Mr. Carter?
Again, I feel like a lot of times there's an ignorance to the process.
Hey, please,
it is.
Please.
It is a process. Many things make it to this point and never make it past site review. Happens all the time. Like I said, I served several years on the Planning and Zoning Board. Many things, when they don't add up at that point, they don't make it past that point. That's why there's so many points. But I know that there was concern about industrial pollution in the area in the past, but all of that pollution was caused by things before we had an EPA. We have so many regulations when it comes to industrial usage these days. It would be pretty tough to get approved anything that's going to cause substantial problems for the people who live in that area. Again, and more importantly, and I wanted to emphasize, I think if we don't at least approve it to send it to state review, I personally think we're opening up ourselves to litigation. This is a quasi-judicial proceeding. We have to have real evidence-based decisions when we vote. If we vote on something, Mr. Martin's going to ask us why, and that's going to be taken down, and you might have to explain why in front of the judge, and that why has to be based on evidence and based on our rules and our procedures.
Well, I can say in life I am ignorant to a lot of things, but when I listen to what the people say that they want in their neighborhoods, I'm going with the people every time. Apologize.
Please, no uproars. Appreciate it.
I do apologize if you do not. We're in this seat because of our constituents. We're in this seat because of the citizens of Lake City, and they are the people that we work for, period. So if it comes to whereas we might have to go to litigation, I promise you that won't be the first and it won't be the last. But for me to sit up here and consciously to make a decision of somebody putting something in especially when I don't know what they're putting, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Mr. Carter.
Again, I'd like to reiterate that I deeply care about the concerns of the citizens here. It has nothing to do with that. But again, we have laws. We have rules. It doesn't. There's certain things you have to do, or at least you ought to do, based on our rules. We have a charter. We have a set of rules that we have to follow. If we don't, we're breaking the law. It's not as simple as every time a group of people are upset about a thing, you just don't do the thing. And again, multiple steps in this process, this will come back to us. And we have the opportunity to turn it down after a state review. That state review may provide us with a lot more valuable information. We approving the first part of this does not mean that tomorrow they're going to build a toxic sludge factory on the property. There is a lot that has to go on before anything's built. And quite frankly, if it was approved, and the state approved, and we approved, and the site plan was approved, you're still talking about many years. They're going to have to foot the bill for miles and miles of utilities. There's a lot going into this. Something might not be built on this for 20 years.
Thank you, Mr. Carter. Mr. Rosenthal.
Yeah, just based on what the councilman is saying, he's accurate as far as what our regulations say. The sentimental feelings about whether it should or shouldn't is one thing, but what the ordinance says is another. There's other opportunities as we go forward that this can be reviewed again based on what the state says. I just wanted to bring that to the council's attention.
Thank you, Mr. Rosenthal.
Well, if we can, I don't want to vote on this tonight. Maybe we need to table it for a future time so I can get a little more understanding since I'm so ignorant about this.
Is that a motion to table it? Mr. Martin, help me through this. Is it?
So the council could procedurally table this and reconvene the hearing at their next meeting. But as to the point of Ms. Harris's comment, you would not be able to rely on any additional information other than information that's received in evidence in this hearing from either the applicant or the city at this point. We've actually had the hearing, so the council would have to reopen the evidentiary elements of this, receive additional testimony, and then based on that testimony, close the hearing. You would have to allow additional cross-examination, closing comments, et cetera. So you would actually be stepping back in the process. It could have the effect of affecting the due process rights of the applicant in the hearing. So that's something to keep in mind as well, depending on how the city procedurally approaches it. But just things to consider as you're deciding whether you want to table it or not. But yes, you could table tonight's hearing, reconvene the hearing at another time. I would just have to caution you as part of that, you would not be able to have any ex parte communications. And if you did, you would have to disclose them for the record and explain whether they would impact your ability to render an impartial decision or not based on evidence of record.
Thank you, Mr. Martin. I'm going to take Ms. Young.
And if I may say, really, the state review is a form of tabling it, because, and we will be provided with more information, to get a clearer understanding. So by us saying no, we're really, giving it to the state, letting them make the decision based on, legal. They know the laws and the policies where we may know a few or just a shallow of it. It's getting more deeper and when it gets in the hands of the state. So I do agree that that's really a form of tabling it.
Mr. Carter.
Mr. Mayor, thank you. Friends, it is very easy to just say, there's a lot of people concerned about this. No. It's very easy. It's very easy to give folks the clap when you agree with them. It is very hard to look at my community members and say that I disagree about this particular thing. I take the site review plan process extremely seriously, and I will not vote at any point to approve anything that I believe will negatively impact your lives. That being said, I move to approve City Council Ordinance 2025-2338 for first reading.
We have a motion.
I'll second.
We have a second. We have a motion by Mr. Carter, a second by Ms. Young. Do we have any further comments on the council? Hearing none, Ms. Sykes, will you please call the roll?
Mr. Carter?
Yay.
Ms. Young?
Yes.
Mr. Jernigan?
No.
Ms. Harris?
No.
Mayor Walker?
Yes. We're going to take a 5-minute recess. We'll now resume our city council meeting, November 17, 2025. We're now on item 11, city council ordinance number 2025-2339. Mr. Martin, I'm going to turn it back over to you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Council members, you have before you proposed ordinance 2025-2339 on first reading, which states an ordinance of the City of Lake City, Florida, amending the official zoning atlas of the City of Lake City land development regulations as amended relating to the rezoning of 10 or more contiguous acres of land pursuant to an application by Richard Cole and Daniel Kratz as agents for Price Creek LLC, a Florida limited liability company, the property owner of said acreage, providing for rezoning from county rural residential to city industrial of certain lands within the corporate limits of the City of Lake City, Florida, providing severability, repealing all ordinances in conflict, and providing an effective date. At this time, Mr. Angelo, could you please introduce, summarize, and present the proposed ordinance?
All right, Mr. Mayor and Council, you have before you Z25-12, and this is the companion application for the previous one we just heard. So this is for the same parcel, and they're looking to change the official zoning atlas on this from rural residential county to industrial city. And so same pattern around it as before, and that's all I'm gonna kind of skip through that since we already heard a lot of that. Here's the proposed site again, agricultural to the south and residential to the west of it, and then industrial to the north and to the east. Same wetland as before. Staff comments are all the same there. And so we did do an analysis of 15.2 of the land development regulations. The property is contiguous to a industrial zoning district. The city facilities are anticipated to continue to meet or exceed the level of service standards adopted within the City of Lake City Comprehensive Plan. And that was a report that was submitted by the North Florida Planning Council. And rezonings are too conceptual to accurately measure the impacts of the property and the surrounding area. And that the property is contiguous to a residential land and will need to provide a 25-foot buffer between the residential and the development. And during the site plan review is a process where, you know, we could do a conditional site plan where an extended buffer, or, you know, depending on if there's, like Mr. Carter was speaking to with lighting, and there's things that we can do once we see the actual site plan that we can give a conditional approval. If they don't meet these conditions, then the site plan doesn't get approved. Planning staff comments, the staff has determined that the rezoning is consistent with the comprehensive plan and Article 15.2 of the city land development regulations. And would like to take a moment, kind of explain the process. What Ms. Harris was, you know, kind of alluding to a little bit during the comp plan amendment, and, you know, some of the citizens too, is, you know, what is going here? And so when you're hearing a rezoning, our land development regulations prohibits us from having a site plan and a rezoning concurrently. And the reason being for that is a developer that could come in and say, well, I only want to build 20 homes on this 400 acres of land, but I have the ability to build 1,000 homes. And they've rezoned it for that. And the intent to build 20 homes, but then they turn around and sell it to the highest bidder right behind that comes in and builds the 1,000 homes. So it can be misleading sometimes having a site plan at this level, because just because the site plan's approved doesn't mean that's what has to go there. And they can turn around and immediately resell that property. So that is one reason why we don't have the site plan here in front of us. And that a lot of times the development community will rezone the property, then they will go out for sale of that property to entice buyers in. And then at that point, they would get the site plan and then go through the whole site plan process, you know, the planning, the permitting through Swanee River Water Management. So part of the rezoning through site plan process, you'll do a rezoning. So like right now we have a comp plan amendment and then we have a rezoning. Those two go hand in hand. One affects the future land use map. The other affects the official zoning atlas. The two of those have to mirror each other. And that's why we have the second application for this. And once this is done, this application, because it's a rezoning, does not go to the state. Only the comp plan amendment, because that's what the state reviews as the future land use. And so this would sit idle until the comp plan amendment comes back from the state and we bring both of those petitions back to this board to be reviewed. And once that's done, then it would go through the site planning phase where we'll do a very in-depth review. And if they pick a use that, let's say like an oil refinery, asphalt plant, something like that, that is going to be very toxic or probably burdensome to the community, that would even require a special exception. That's a whole nother hearing, and then it would have to go through a site plan review. So you have multiple meetings that this could possibly have to go through in order to even get to the point where they can start pulling the first permit. And so I kind of wanted to just educate the board a little bit, and I'm here to answer any questions on the process. And if anybody doesn't understand it or wants a little more clarity, and I'd be more than happy to answer any questions. Thank you. And I would like to move my application and presentation into the record.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Angelo. At this time, we'll hear from the applicant.
Thank you. Excuse me. Thank you again, Patrick Kruchowski. I don't want to reiterate everything, but it is important to get it on the record that you have a staff report here that details all of the requirements in the land development regulations and that has determined the application as submitted meets all of those requirements. So you have, again, your expert, your staff person, along with the application that we submitted as your competent substantial evidence for the rezoning. I also wanted to speak on what Mr. Angelo just spoke on. The rezoning application doesn't go to the state, but even if you approve it tonight, it doesn't go anywhere. It has to be a companion with the land use amendment. You have to have both of those. So if you approve the rezoning tonight, it's going to sit and wait until you hear back from the state. The state provides comments and you move forward with second reading, then they come back together. So we're not skipping a step. Their mirror is the best way to describe it. They have to go together. They have to be a companion. You can't do a rezoning without the land use amendment if the land use that's currently on the property isn't what you need. So just an attempt at clarity there. Really, all of the other comments are very similar to the last application, given that it's a companion. We feel that the staff report supports the application, supports the request, and is based on competent substantial evidence, and we ask you to approve. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Kruchowski. Do we have any party interveners on the zoning application? Seeing none, we will move on to public comment. I only have one card on public comment on this particular matter. It's Ms. Julie Bassett, and you have 3 minutes.
Put my thing back up. Can you put that back up, the PowerPoint?
Here you go, Ms. Bassett.
Okay, my name is Julie Bassett, again, Lake City, Florida. Page 9 or 10, excuse me, 9. Again, the applicant did not meet the requirements in the application. Section D, number 3, concurrency impact analysis. Concurrency impact analysis of impacts to public facilities, including but not limited to transportation, potable water, sanitary sewer, solid waste. Are we going to rely on data from 2018? Is that how we do business in Lake City? Analysis requirement. Letter G, whether the proposed change will adversely influence living conditions in the neighborhood. They've not proved that it will not adversely influence living conditions in the neighborhood. Traffic congestion. Almost every time I go down 245A, I get run off the road. I mean, the corner right there where one of their accesses would come out, it's horrible. The roads are bad enough without having trucks or who knows. Again, we don't know what their proposed use is, so how the heck do we know? Traffic congestion or otherwise affect public safety. Again, a gentleman here has pulled somebody out of a car and they didn't make it. The traffic is already overburdened. It's not good there. Okay, whether the proposed change will adversely affect property values in the adjacent area. They've not proved that won't happen. Why do you think we're here? We put blood, sweat, tears, prayers into building our homes. The Lord has blessed us with our homes. We don't want our property values affected just because somebody wants to make money off of their property that they bought 20 years ago. We're not here to fill their retirement plan. We're here to protect our homes and our investments. L, whether the proposed change will be a deterrent to the improvement or development of adjacent property in accord with existing regulations. Yes, it will. N, whether there are substantial reasons why the property cannot be used in accordance with existing zoning. Why can't they use it for what it was purchased? That's the reason we have zoning maps. That's the reason we have the atlas. That's the reason we have zoning. Not that it can be so fluid that a developer can go, oh, let me gamble on this. Let me make money off the backs of the neighbors who've built their homes, who've spent their money, who've prayed over their homes just so they can make a buck on their retirement plan. B, whether it's impossible to find other adequate sites in the city for the proposed use in district already permitting such use. Have they looked for other industry? Have they looked for other parcels? My parents took a loss on some property they bought probably about the same time. Guess what? The real estate market fluctuates. Just because you bought something high doesn't mean that you should be able to sell it higher because, oops, sorry neighbors, but we're trying to make a buck. The need and justification for the change. Where have they proved that in this application? Where have they proved that? They haven't. They have not met the requirements of your own application process. They haven't. Have you read it? And then lastly, just real quick, the only resolutions that are provided to you from the Planning and Zoning Board, the resolutions themselves state the reasons that it does not meet concurrency. So please read your resolutions before you sign anything and vote. Read your own draft resolutions. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Bassett. Is there anyone else that wishes to speak to this in public comment? Mr. Bassett, when you finish your comments, can you fill out a card for me so we can keep it for the record, please?
Yes,
All
sir,
right.
absolutely.
Thank
Sam Bassett, 335 Southeast Price Creek Loop. And just another note that I want to read. Of course, talking about the the line for industrial commercial land that's been drawn twice in the past, this industrial land, this property adjoins to the property that fronts State Road 100, okay? We know where that is. Everybody knows. All industrial commercial property near State Road 100 has direct access to State Road 100. Those properties on the line has been drawn in the past to keep industrial property from creeping toward the residential or agricultural land, which is what's happening right now. They're trying to get this rezoned, and it's pushing toward our area now instead of going north. Something that borders State 100 is reasonable to consider, absolutely for industrial considerations. But this property in question it's not reasonable to keep it is reasonable to keep it residential and agriculture. And just a couple of things. One, it's very insulting to insult everybody, Mr. Carter, that we're ignorant to the process. We may not have all the details. We don't have a lawyer. We haven't paid for that. But we understand when things don't meet criteria. And in fact, your zoning board voted against it. Go by what they said. Make the right decisions. You're talking about lawsuit. You're not even listening to your own zoning board. That makes no sense to me. Why did this get annexed to the city in the first place? A farmer gave it up. Of course, they were willing to give theirs, and then it connected. And that was 4 years ago. This is slimy. It's sneaky. It's not godly. And you can talk about sentimental all you want, but at some point it makes no sense. And you've talked to constituents. Mr. Carter, are those constituents on that side? You haven't talked to any of us about it. So before you get up there and say that we're wrong, that we're ignorant, please go by your own standards and vote no for this. You're not going by your own standards. This is being forced on us. They're making it like it's imminent. It has to happen. It has to happen. Why? Once again, millions and millions of dollars at the North Mega Industrial Park. State government build a railroad across a state road, people. A state road, a railroad to go into a park where industry could come in. And guess what? That's a good thing because I believe in industry. I believe that we need money in this county, in this city. And when it's done the right way, then by God, let's do it. This is wrong. Who says we have to do this? Why? Why is it you don't even know what's going to happen? 25 and 35 feet from water that goes to the 7 rivers or however many they are. I've looked at it in the past. I've had to review this over the years. I take time off from my busy schedule to come up here, and it affects all of our lives. Review your own charter. Review your own zoning board commission that said do not pass. They recommended no, right? We're still saying no to this. Please review it, not just with your hearts, but with your minds.
Thank you, Mr. Bassett.
Fiscal responsibility.
Mr. Bassett, if you could fill out another speaker card for me, please. Thank you. They're in the back. Anyone else wish to speak to this
Mr. Warren.
public comment?
Mr. Warren signed up for it.
Okay, thank you.
I was born in 1980. I graduated from Washington County in 1996. That means I was 15 years old when I graduated. At that time, they had something called the high school competency test. The highest you can score on that was an 800. I scored a 792 and a 785. Fuck if I'm ignorant. I have a comprehension out of this world. I understand everything that goes on in closed doors and behind closed doors. And I understand plain English, and I got street sense, common sense, and I got college education. So I find it very offensive to even be using those words when I'm in the room. And I find it very offensive to be using those words when grown people and veterans and seniors and everybody else in the room. Is a very disrespectful way to come off, right? And to go over there and have Robert to come and try to give us a crash course as if we are ignorant. I've been around before Robert been around. I've been developing before Robert was even hired on at the city. So I don't want to hear what Robert says. I go give Robert good ideas. Ask Robert where some of his best ideas come from. So let me say this. If you're going to do something, do your due diligence and find out why the county didn't want it. Why Brandon Stubbs didn't want it when he was on county staff. Why that zoning board didn't want it when they voted on it as a county. And why are you going against your own city council zoning and planning board that voted no to this? And why that didn't come up in the recommendation? Why Robert didn't say that the city zoning and planning board voted no? Why was that information not given in this conversation? That is a problem. Yes, these people will feel like that is sneaky and underhanded. And about a month ago, I remember Mr. Carter and Mr. Noah Walker and several people was talking about transparency. Where the hell is the transparency? If these things are being left out, and stop mentioning and misleading the people, saying that you all meet or exceed the standard capacity. When the director just got up here and said, when you do not know the intent, you cannot say you got the capacity. So let's stop. Who's ignorant now? Now you sound pretty ignorant when all your staff and all these people in here are saying opposite of what you're saying. You like the lone ignorant wolf. So let me continue by saying that this is a bad idea. I appreciate Mr. Jernigan and I appreciate Ms. Harris understanding what these people are going through based on what they live through in the community in which we live in. There are things that people do not want, should not have, and there's other ways of getting things done. And it should have been rejected. So shame on you, Noah, shame on you, Carter, and shame on you, Ms. Young, especially you, Ms. Young, to live in a black community that has things in it that it shouldn't have in there. You are the worst kind of person, especially with you claiming to be a preacher.
Thank you, Lord.
Thank you, Mr. Warren. Next person is Lori Akins. And again, this is a separate hearing. If you can state your name and address for the record.
Laurie Akins, 442 Southeast County Road 245A. Can I get the picture of the site plan up, please? Is that possible?
Bassett was using?
Any of them.
Okay.
There's ours. It doesn't matter. Can we just get the site plan up?
Okay. Just a second. We're working on it back there.
Doesn't matter. That's good.
Okay.
Thank you. I just want to point out where I live, and I want y'all to tell me then that no matter what industry is put there that it will not adversely affect me or my life or my livelihood. That's my house. That's my home. My husband and I built that with our hands, with our hands. We didn't contract anyone. That's my home. This is my garden. This is where our cows live. Did you see that? All of you. Did you see that? Miss Young? Did you see that where I live? You don't want to look, do you?
Not how you disrespect me.
You don't want to look. You don't want to look. It's your job to look.
Thank you, Ms. Akins. Do we have anyone else that wishes to offer public comments? Okay. Seeing no one, this time, does the applicant, let's see, give me just a second here. Does the applicant wish to respond?
Good evening, Mayor, members of council. This is Brandon Stubbs with North Florida Professional Services. I just want to make the record clear that it was stated that there was no competent substantial evidence presented, that we met concurrency, that we met the standards, there was no burden of proof provided. There's actually burden of proof that supports this amendment, not only by the data and analysis, the comp plan assessment, and the section 15.2 analysis that was provided with the application, but by the North Central Florida Regional Planning Council staff report and your own staff's report. All of it concluded the same thing, that there was nothing to deny this amendment, that all the standards have been met, and that is your competent substantial evidence. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Stubbs. Mr. Angelo, do you have any response on behalf of the city?
All right, so kind of make it short and sweet. This is the, like I said, the complementary application for the other one. They got to go hand in hand. And I also want to clarify something that was said on the record, that Mr. Carter came over to me during the break and asked me to explain what a rezoning process and all that is. So I want to clarify that. Ms. Harris is the one that asked me during that break, that question. Mr. Carter asked me, if this was a rezoning, does it go to the state review? And I want that to be on the record, that was the question that was asked me by Mr. Carter, because I do want transparency. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Angelo. We have a couple questions for you if it's time for that. Mr. Martin?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, at this time, if Mr. Angelo has completed his presentation or response, then I would turn it over to you to manage questions from the council.
Thank you, Mr. Martin. I did have Mr. Carter first and then you, Ms. Harris.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Angelo. Just briefly, I would like to point out that I have no doubt there are many people in the room who are familiar with the plan, but with the process, but I have no doubt that there are plenty of people in the room who are not. The average person isn't familiar with these processes, and I don't think it's insulting to say so. And if anyone felt insulted, I sincerely apologize. That being said, something that was mentioned, and I just want to, I was going to mention this at the end of the meeting in my council comments, but it is relevant now. After the Planning and Zoning Board meeting on this, which I attended, was it not determined that the chair of that board is an immediate family member of one of the farms that is touching and should have probably recused themselves from the vote?
I do not know what the relationship was because I was not at the meeting and I was unfortunately out of the country. But I do know that she did speak to that she had some ex parte communication during that meeting. But as far as what her relationship is, I'm not sure on that.
Right. Well, for the record, the chair of our Planning and Zoning Board, who voted no on this when it came beforehand, is the sister of Miss Akins. The board voted 3-2 no. Had she not voted, which I think is a bit tricky, it would have been 2-2 and would have failed, which is not a denial. Thank you, Mr. Angelo.
Thank you, Mr. Carter. Ms. Harris?
I have a couple of questions. Did the zoning board vote no to this?
So as Mr. Carter alluded to, they did vote 3-2, and
Voted no.
yes, they voted to deny this, and their recommendation was in the resolution.
Oh, just answer the question I asked. So you said our zoning board voted no to this. All right. Why hasn't? Well, maybe I should ask the question. Has this been updated since 2018 or?
So as far, you're talking about the concurrency report? So in your report, you will have a currency report from the North Florida Planning Council that was done right before the rezoning. That was done in 2025.
Robert, just say yes or no, okay?
Yes.
So it has been updated?
Yes.
When did it get updated? Because I've heard a couple of people say it hadn't been updated since 2018.
In 2025, when the North Florida Planning Council submitted their report to the city of Lake City, and that is in your packets.
So I also heard, why is it that the county didn't want this piece of property?
I can't speak to that because I wasn't with the city and or with the city or the county at the time. I do not have any records of that.
Hearing that, do that sound odd to you?
No, ma'am. And
Doesn't sound odd that the county wouldn't want it and they want the city to have it?
no, ma'am. I mean, things happen all the time. I mean, it's two different boards vote different ways, and I can't speak for that board.
Okay. Right.
Ms. Harris.
Yeah.
Anybody else have any questions for Mr. Angelo? Thank you, Mr. Angelo.
Oh, let me be clear too. When I asked you about talking, because I want to be clear. When I asked you about it, I wasn't a councilwoman at the time. And what I want from you is the information I need to make a conscious decision of what is what. So that is what I was talking about. So I don't want it to seem like we was trying to slide some under the rug.
No. I didn't want it to seem that way at all. I just wanted to make sure it was on the record for transparency reason.
Thank you, Mr. Angelo.
Thank
you. Mr. Martin.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. At this time, we'll move to final arguments and comments, beginning with the applicant. They're waiving. Mr. Angelo, do you have any final comments? Mr. Angelo is waiving. The decision of the City Council should be based only on the evidence provided by sworn witnesses. In addition, the council shall take into consideration the recommendation of the zoning board and the matters listed in section 15.2.2 of the city's land development regulations. At this time, the City Council may discuss the application, testimony, and any findings of fact upon which it wishes to base a decision and adopt proposed ordinance 2025-2339 following an appropriate motion and second.
Thank you, Mr. Martin. Do we have any discussion, questions, comments from the board?
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
Before making this motion, I cannot emphasize enough how much I hope everyone in this room takes part in the process and every step of the process, and everything you have to say will be listened to by me, and I believe the rest of this board. That being said, I move to approve City Council Ordinance 2025-2339.
We have a motion.
I'll second it for discussion.
We have a second. For discussion, any further discussion, questions, comments? Hearing none, Ms. Sykes, will you, Mr. Jernigan?
Yeah, you said discussion, so, my vote will not change until, I'm looking at all the material that I have and from the constituents, that will not change. So, I just want to let people know that I'm doing that based on the information that I heard, the information that I've seen, and what the planning and zoning, in my opinion, they made a mistake. So that's the reason why my decision will not change.
Thank you, Mr. Jernigan. Any further comments?
I would like to make a comment. First of all, I don't care where you sit in this room, you can't get too involved when it comes with feelings. We all have feelings, and when it comes to making a decision, if we make a decision as to feelings, we're all gonna fail. I've been in your position before, and I would hope if I'm there today or tomorrow, that I will understand that a person's decision is a decision, and behind this dais is a decision after hearing all of the facts and laws and all, and the decision is made to the best that I know, to the best of the city, to the best of the community. I cannot look at, hear cries, and vote based on that. We just can't do that. And for those who want to make it a spiritual thing, if it was according to feelings, none of us would be here today. It wasn't about feelings, it wasn't about emotions. And there was some ugly comments made to me when I walked outside, and I just want you to know I love you just the same.
Thank you, Ms. Young. Ms. Sykes, if there are no further comments or questions, Ms. Sykes, will you please call the roll?
Mr. Carter?
Yay.
Ms. Young?
Yes.
Mr. Jernigan?
No.
Ms. Harris?
No.
Mayor Walker?
Yes. That closes our quasi-judicial hearings, and we are moving into old business with open public hearing on item number 12. Mr. Martin, will you please read that by title?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. City Council, you have before you ordinance number 2025
Here, let's take a second. Okay, thank you, Mr. Martin. If you'll go ahead and read.
You have before you ordinance number 2025-2327, an ordinance pertaining to solid waste services and management within the city of Lake City, providing updated definitions, establishing provisions related to third-party and contractor-generated waste, establishing provisions related to storm debris waste contractors, establishing a contractor registration process for declared states of emergency, repealing all resolutions and ordinances in conflict, making findings of fact in support thereof, providing for severability, and providing an effective date.
Thank you, Mr. Martin. Mr. Warren, I'm going to go ahead and open public comment on this. You are the only person signed up for it.
That ordinance that's in 15?
That's number 12.
Oh, I'm sorry, no, sir.
Number 2025-2327.
No, sir.
All right, we'll go ahead and close public comment. We'll move straight into dais comments, questions. Anybody have any comments, questions, or would like to make a motion on City Council Ordinance number 2025-2327 on that was previously passed on first reading?
Mr. Mayor.
I like.
Good.
Take the motion from you,
Move
Mr.
to
Harrison.
approve ordinance 2025-2327.
Second.
We have a motion from Mr. Carter, second from Ms. Harris. Thank you both. Do we have any further comments or questions on the board? Hearing none, Ms. Sykes, will you please call the roll?
Mr. Carter?
Yay.
Ms. Harris?
Yes.
Ms. Young?
Yes.
Mr. Jernigan?
Yes.
Mayor Walker?
Yes. All right, we're moving on to item number 13 in open public hearings. City Council Ordinance number 2025-2341. Mr. Martin, will you please read that by title?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Council members, you have before you ordinance 2025-2341, an ordinance of the City of Lake City, Florida relating to the use of a speed detection system in school zones in the City of Lake City, Florida, creating Chapter 98, Article 5, Section 98-85 of the City of Lake City Code of Ordinances entitled School Speed Zone Infractions, which authorizes a school speed zone enforcement program and use of a speed detection system, providing program implementation requirements, designating school zones and enforcement, providing legislative findings, providing for severability, providing for codification, providing for correction of scrivener's errors, and providing an effective date.
Thank you, Mr. Martin. I will go ahead and open up public hearings. We have you, Mr. Warren, signed up for this. He's waving. So I will now close public comments and move straight into council comments, questions on City Council Ordinance number 2025-2341 that was passed on first reading on 11/3. Would anybody like to adopt City Council Ordinance number 2025-2341 on final reading?
Mayor, I'd like to move to approve ordinance number 2025-2341.
Second.
Thank you both. We have a motion and a second from Ms. Harris and Mr. Jernigan. Do we have any further comments, questions? Hearing none, Ms. Sykes, will you please call the roll?
Ms. Harris?
Yes.
Mr. Jernigan?
Yes.
Ms. Young?
Yes.
Mr. Carter?
Yay.
Mayor Walker?
Yes. Thank you all. All right, now we're moving on to item number 14. This is discussion and possible action following our housing workshop earlier. We just need to come to a quick consensus to provide administration direction on how to proceed with housing based on what we said earlier. I will go ahead and open up public comment on this. We had 2 people signed up, but it appears Mr. Sampson's gone, so Mr. Warren.
In my lack of ignorance, I would definitely ask that the council have wisdom and not be ignorant in making this decision, that local developers are here. The talent pool exists. I think based on the audience attendance and some of the comments that you heard, it demonstrates that very clearly. I think a recommendation was made for RFP. I think that anybody who say they like to follow the rules would abide by that process, as has been the standard process of doing business when it comes to municipality law. So I fully support that. I hope and I would think that those of us that are extremely wise and don't lack ignorance would know that there's something that the city should have been had in place, which is called a housing trust, where you take big developers who come into your town and you pull certain money from them and you set it to the side. And by now, we would have had a trust fund with money in it where we could have been given local incentives. We could have been given a house, what we call down payment assistance and things of that nature to help either get folks into a house who many times I've seen where they have the credit score, they have the income, but they don't have that chunk of money for what we call closing costs or down payment. And then there's something that's very unique, and maybe most of y'all are wise enough to notice that there's something that you can do, and you can buy down the interest rates, right? And so that's a real thing. And with some of the talk about the new legislation that's coming down from the Trump administration, who normally gets his way, you're going to have a 50-year mortgage. You're going to have a portable mortgage, which I think is a good thing because it helps, in my opinion, Black people be able to get into homes, get into the home ownership, which I've always stated that home ownership is one of the number one ways to building generational wealth. You have people in his own party that's upset with him. They're upset with him because it's going to help Black people. Why not be upset about that? That helps to bridge what we call the wealth gap. And I don't need to go into hopefully a workshop about what the wealth gap is, do I? Thank you. So hopefully y'all will get this one right. And as your former governor once said when he was running against a Black opponent, Gillum, y'all won't monkey this up. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Warren. All right. Mr. Carter, you have... Nope. Sorry, I thought you were waiting. Mr. Jernigan.
Go ahead. You want to talk?
No, that
That's
was
all
a
right.
gas.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I did want to speak.
Mr. Jernigan, then I'll come back to you.
So we discussion and possible action, and I just know that we give directions and instructions to this administration, and for this occasion, and to have, in my opinion, very professional group of people come in and try to put some direction on the city for housing, or whatever the case may be. Just to take the time out to do this. And I heard some of the credentials, and I heard some of the negative and some of the positive. But to know the resume of the staff that we brought in here, I mean, why we go through that, through all of that, to not proceed and just discuss with it, just a possible discussion, and see exactly where they could take us, or where the vetting process can take us in the right direction. So I just want to make sure I put that out there when it comes to giving this administration directions or instructions. And I just know that I believe within myself that every last one of them did whatever they could in good faith. So I just want to put that out there with this administration. So keep that in mind.
Thank you, Mr. Jernigan. Mr. Carter?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As I stated earlier in the workshop, I think the best place to start is with the housing study. I think these are really important goals that we have. I just don't think we necessarily know which way to aim our resources yet. So I think we should direct staff to put out an RFP for a housing study. If after that we decide to hire a firm to help us with this, I think we should put out an RFP for that as well. But it would start with the housing study. Do I need to make a motion for that, or do we need to provide
No,
consensus?
it's just consensus. Yeah. We're just working on consensus.
Okay. Well, that's my opinion. I think that's the best place to start.
I have a couple of questions.
Ms. Harris.
Ms. Leslie, could you come to the podium, please? Is that the rest of your team or some of your team?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess it's addressed for them as well.
Okay, you guys go ahead, come on.
What are their credentials? Could you tell us a little bit about them? Because everybody keeps saying you guys are new, so it would,
Yes, ma'am. My name's Justin Williams. I'm one of the vice presidents at Prime AE. I have about 23 years of experience. I've worked on major land improvements in both Jacksonville, St. Johns County, Nassau County. Been down the road a lot of times, been through hearings like this a lot of times. I'm an engineer by trade, a licensed PE. My specialty is wastewater planning for roads, utilities, drainage, those kind of things.
so you're not new to the game?
No, not new to the game.
All right, sir.
Sure. My name's Russ Irvin. I'm with Irvin, Lovett, and Miller. We're
you
in
speak in the mic?
in Jacksonville, Florida. We're an architectural and landscape architectural firm and planners. We do work throughout the country. We go into a lot of different cities and different situations. We have to adapt to every location we go to. So whether we're out in Washington State or in Texas or up in North Carolina or South Carolina, further south in Florida, we begin with planning. And planning's a lot of research and understanding. We would be working at a very high level to kind of help set the table and direction. You've got some great, it sounds like great professionals here locally, and we need them desperately to implement any of this. We're just setting the table very high level, but it's going to be up to your local developers and surveyors and engineers and such to implement some of those thoughts. So we do, again, planning across the country, helping kind of format and get a direction to a project or community such as this.
Okay, and how many years you said?
25
25.
years of
And
our
so-
business.
So to be clear, you will be using, I think I asked this in the last meeting, and Ms. Leslie, that you will be using local developers and other people that's here in Lake City. And, go ahead.
I was going to say, yes, surveyors, so on and so forth, would be all local.
So local people won't be out of it, pushed out of it?
No, they're very important to this process, and local developers have lived here and have certainly journeyed here. Information coming back from them is highly important. Will be giving us guidance.
Okay, so Ms. Leslie,
May I add to that? That this isn't the extent of our team. We have an environmental engineer that's on our team. We also have a horizontal road construction and utility individual who's on our team. We also have someone that's an additional person that's on our team that has many, many years of government contracting experience and was actually recognized by the White House for their services during the Katrina issue. So we have got a lot of experience. And again, I appreciate the opportunity to come back and just address that. Yes, this is the first project that this team as a whole, not the Nehemiah's Court project is the first project that this team as a whole has coordinated to do, but it is definitely not the scope of our nor the totality of our experience.
And could you give us, I read about your credentials, but could you just spew off a few of your credentials what make you so qualified for this job?
Yes, educationally, I have 4 college degrees. I spent a lot of time studying and thinking and being able to draft presentations, and I am pursuing a PhD in data analysis, so that you want to be able to support and shape public policy as it relates to affordable housing, because it's so near and dear to my heart. I have worked many, many years. I was an associate vice president for Bank of America for some years. I have worked for one of the top 4 international consulting firms as a portfolio manager, managing multi-million-dollar contracts. So this isn't new to me. This isn't something that we are just dipping our toes into. We're bringing the totality of all of that in worldwide experience that this group has to the table. And we're saying to you that we're bringing that under the umbrella of Precept Acquisitions, which is, again, yes, a brand new company, or at least a 2-year-old company. But what we're doing and bringing to the table is our ability to go and identify resources of some of the larger firms, bring those to the table kind of in as a boutique firm. We want to be flexible as a small business so that you don't have to bear the cost of the large firms, but also be able to tap into the resources that these larger firms have that you may need without having to bear the brunt of the cost for hiring that firm directly. We want to bring that to you and help assist you and again, identifying priorities, because I know that makes sense. It's important to know which direction you want to go in, but we want to bring the totality of our experience to say, hey, let us help you identify what that path is, and let us help you at each phase of development, work with your local developers, work with your local resources to determine how to implement those things. And I believe we can do a great job of helping you get there.
And in the last meeting, you did tell us that in each phase, because I think you said there will be 5 phases.
5 phases.
And in each phase, it will be brought to the council for direction of whatever the council would like. Right?
We want the city of Lake City to stay in the driver's seat for development. What tends to happen is we, because there isn't the experience, you don't have a construction-related experience, or maybe not everyone has construction-related experience. You don't necessarily have the ability to give guidance to the developers and to be able to dictate what you want to happen and when you want it to happen. We want to be on your side to say, let's help you evaluate who your developers are and what they need to do and what they're presenting to you. We just want to walk alongside you as you make these decisions, but all along you have authority and signatory authority over whether or not you progress to the next step. So if you purchase a piece of land and decide that that's not in the best interest of your constituents, then at that point you can back away from it. You go to the second step, and that's where Russ steps in, and he will support all the conceptual design. You get to determine what does the layout look like. You asked the question in the previous ordinance hearing, we don't know what's going to happen on this lot. We don't know what it's going to look like. And so you're asking us to vote on something and we don't necessarily know what the end result is. Well, Russ is going to design that. He's done beautiful designs, as he mentioned, all over the United States. But you'll get that level of one-on-one support, being able to understand that. Then you get to the second part of engineering. Obviously, we can use local engineering companies, but you'll have Justin in place who will be able to support evaluation of the information that's being presented. So you have the ability at each phase to have an expert consultant in place with you to reach and execute on your goals.
Okay, and the population for Lake City, Columbia County, I think it's 16,000?
12.5.
12,000. Okay, so you come from Margaretta, which is much smaller,
Very
but
aggressive.
you have dealt with cities of this size and bigger, right?
Yes.
So since you've done it with bigger places, this will be in your expertise to.
Right, and again, it's not just my personal experience. We're going to bring the resources of municipal planners who understand at a local level, local level, state level, regional level, and have a wide ranging experience in working with cities to really understand overall what your goals are and to be able to help you map out those plans. So it's not just myself. I definitely am representing the group. But you're going to get a wide range of expertise that's at your disposal at all times.
Thank you, Ms. Harris. I've got a couple quick questions and then we'll come back.
Feel free to add anytime.
Mr. Irvin, you said something. You said that you guys always start with a lot of planning and research, correct?
Correct, yes.
Why is that?
We need to understand the environment that we're working in. Every project, every parcel is unique. What we try to glean out of every single parcel is value. And where does the value lie? What's the environment that the parcel's in? How does it all marry to the surrounding neighbors and the surrounding neighborhood? How can we feather all of those together so they all work together and they're very compatible? So we look at those kind of opportunities. And again, every site is unique. And so we look for the best assets that the site offers. And we understand what markets are looking for, but it's really bringing value, creating the most value out of your property that we can exercise.
In Florida, do you have you done many of those without doing without going through the request for proposal process?
Probably most of our stuff is without request for proposal. We do mostly private work for large.
But with municipalities specifically?
Not with municipalities, no.
So those go through RFP with municipalities?
We have not done that, no.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, we'll move on. Mr. Carter and then Ms. Young. That's what I saw first.
Again, thank you, guys. I haven't at any point questioned your individual experiences, obviously, and I have no doubt they are wide and varied. To point out, just as a metaphor, the University of Florida has a lot of 4- and 5-star recruits right now, but it is not a great team. So I'm just saying the two things are
That's
not
my school.
necessarily
That's where I
comparable.
graduated from. So hold on.
Okay, I'm just saying they're breaking our hearts.
Yes.
But that's the point I'm making, and I would just ask: would it be fair to say that each of you in the team that's represented here today has worked on 10 projects like this or similar, 5 each, maybe in various capacities?
Much more. Because again, go ahead.
And then again, when it comes to a government, because obviously a lot of it's private work, when it comes to a government, city, county, usually, would you say usually they've done their due diligence ahead of time with some studies that kind of help form their goals before looking out to hire someone to help facilitate those?
I would say I've been on both sides. I've received direct awards, so that it's been a one-to-one private partnership. And I've been on the other side where you've had to do the request for proposals. So I've seen, and experienced successful opportunities happening both ways, and definitely opportunities where in developing those proposals or even developing those goals, that the municipalities will work with the private industry to try to determine what it is that they want to do and how they want to do it. And that's what I think we're suggesting, is that not that you shouldn't do the research. I think you're right on point. It has to happen. But I believe that what we're saying is you've got the opportunity to do that with us while you're trying to figure out how to move forward. A good way to move forward is to we hope, make the decision to allow us to come and walk with you in defining those things. Help us. If you decide you want to do a housing study, great. We, prior to coming here, one of the things that we wanted to do was look at the vacancy. We wanted to, vacancy rates. We wanted to look at your housing absorption rates, all those different things. So definitely agree that data is important. I told you that one of my master's degree is in data analytics. So I will be the very first one to say that data is important. But what I believe we bring to the table is the ability to walk with you during that period of investigation to at least, at a minimum, be able to help you interpret and evaluate the results of that study. So we're not saying don't do that. What we're saying is we're available to be your consultant to help you walk that path.
Sure. So, and I would say it sounds like you guys have the set of skills necessary to help us parse through that kind of data.
Absolutely.
And so, your honest opinion. Now, I get it that you would like the business. All right. Obviously, I'm going to suggest we do an RFP. I've made that clear the whole time. It's just how I like to do it. It doesn't really look like I'll succeed in that endeavor, to be honest, but that's how I feel. But your honest opinion, and any of you can feel free to tell me, don't you think that study would be valuable before we begin?
I think that that's a decision that you all have to make. I think that needs to be definitely, you want to make sure that you are clear on what direction you want to take. And we believe that we've got the resources, the knowledge, the know-how to help you get to that, to make that step.
Thank you.
Ms. Young.
Thank you, Ms. Leslie Precepts. Really, every question I have here has already been asked and answered. I think we have an amazing total package with Precepts. And one thing I want to say, we've heard hire a consultant, we've heard, and the background got me because I don't know no other contract person, anybody that come here with, and we hire them on a contract that we've asked for a background check. So I'm offended by that. But we have a total package here. And instead of going through all the spiel, I'm gonna say we get a consensus vote that instructs a city, because do we have a proposal that fits? Or do we need some work? Do you understand my question?
I don't know.
Okay. You tell me, what do we need from Ms. Leslie?
Well, what she's given us so far as a concept, if the next step in this will be a proposal from either a request for proposal or request a proposal specifically from her, but that's the board decision. That's not the city manager decision.
Okay. I wanted to understand that before I wanted that to be spoken before I say that we get a consensus vote that instructs city attorney Martin, city manager Rosenthal to cooperate with Precepts, Ms. Leslie and Precepts, as they develop a proposal based on the concepts which, and I don't want to say which Precepts presented to the council. And we come back for a vote.
Mr. Jernigan, you had something to say before we go through it.
I did. This is for Mr. Martin here. Mr. Martin, this group of professionals have been before us at least on 2 occasions, well, 3 occasions. Mm-hmm. And I want to know, are we violating any law if we accept their proposal, or we go with them to help us guide us? Is there any laws that we've broken, or is there any laws that have been broken?
In the past tense to this point, there's been no law that has been broken to this point that I'm aware of.
Well, I'm hearing about we need to go do procurement. We need to do this. We need to do that. Mr. Rosenthal, I just want to know if we come up with a consensus whether we use them or not. I just I don't want to break any rules or any laws that we have in place.
Mr. Mayor.
Please.
So moving forward, I'm going to give the classic law school answer. It depends.
Please make it
That's what I
clear.
want to hear.
It depends.
But don't go so long, because I'll forget.
I know.
Okay,
I
please
won't, I
don't.
won't make it long. If tonight the council made a decision to move forward with Precept, to negotiate a contract, to enter into that contract perhaps at a future meeting or even tonight, if the council did that, absent anything else, that would cause you to run afoul of the provisions of your own procurement policy. That said, if the council, and this is partially clarification, a question from Ms. Young, if when she says cooperate with Precept to develop their proposal, and we're talking about a proposal as it's defined under the public-private partnership statute, then I don't think that doing that and helping them develop that proposal, or at least cooperating with them to give them information from the city that they may need to do that, is in any way a violation of anything in our procurement code. So it really depends on how the council moves forward tonight and what that consensus is. And I would say, for my sake, I'm going to go out on a limb and speak for Mr. Rosenthal. If the two of us really aren't hearing a consensus, meaning that everybody's kind of on the general same page about how we move forward, I would feel more comfortable with a vote giving direction. But if everybody really is in consensus and everybody kind of is in agreement, then I would feel comfortable just moving forward on that basis.
Clay, if I may, I would like to see a consensus vote to make sure we have the consensus. I think
Okay.
that's important if we're going to move forward.
Thank you. Ms. Harris.
Can we get procurement back up here so they can,
Yes. Brenda?
Well, you're on the way up here, Brenda. James,
sorry.
you had something?
Well, I did. And one of them was a question for Ms. Brenda, and one was a question for Mr. Rosenthal. So.
Okay.
Right. Ms. Brenda,
Yes.
I don't even know, is it your professional opinion that this is the sort of thing that, generally speaking, would go to an RFP?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it feels more comfortable and more fair.
Yes. To be best practice, we would do a RFP.
Thank you. One other question for Mr. Rosenthal. Mr. Rosenthal, is it your opinion that before beginning this process, that study that I've suggested we get could be of a lot of help and use and value?
Well, any study in something like this could be of some use, but based on what the attorney said, I think we could look at it either way. But anytime you're doing something like this, studies are important, yes.
So my point is, it seems to me that that's you asking for consensus. That seems like the most likely thing that we could all agree on as having value. And I'm not asking in any way to stop doing anything else in the future. I just want this first. It allows us to have more serious and more educated conversations with whoever we hire. Yes, sir.
Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Martin.
For clarification, as I understand it, there are really two matters floating before the council at the moment. One is proceeding with an RFP to do a study on the housing issue. To do the study on the housing issue for the city to procure that consultant and those services would require some kind of competitive procurement under our procurement policy. As I believe I understand Ms. Young's proposition, it is to cooperate with Precept to develop a proposal, and if that is a proposal as defined under the public-private partnership statute, that is something we can assist with and that they can come back to the council with, that does not have to be done competitively, because that is the essence of the P3 statute, is to allow creativity outside of the traditional procurement process under the statute, if the council chooses to go that way.
Yeah.
So two
Yes, there's two
different things, just to
distinctly
clarify.
different things. Ms. Young?
My motion stands.
Okay. It's not quite a motion yet. I have a concern just because of the close relational ties to the vendor that's presented, that we could be on some real shaky grounds if we don't go for an RFP, even with them. I think that, this is the kind of thing that Doge comes in, turns over, and causes a real issue for a city down the road. And I don't think that it's out of the question that they would start almost immediately. I would question the proposer of the potential, the concept or whatever we're calling it. If you have done work with municipalities and you haven't skipped the RFP process, why would we do that now? Yeah, that's a question.
If, Ms. Brown.
One, I wanted to address the relational issues. I am not related to Ms. Young. Have had very little interaction with her over the last, I don't know, however many years that I've known her. So I'm not in any related to anybody else on the council that I know.
No, I didn't mean that. I did, just to clarify, it was a presentation that you guys had known each other since your childhood, though, during the last meeting. That was stated.
Let me address that.
Okay,
As
please.
many people have stood to that council that you know and are good friends with, I haven't seen Leslie since she was
a child.
what school?
I understand.
No. We know probably everybody who stands here. Don't hand me that. It stands.
I've never asked for a contract to be handed
No,
to somebody
no.
who I've known
You
since
can't
their
tie
childhood.
Leslie and myself. No,
I
type
did.
of
I'm not.
relationship.
I'm going by what you said in the last meeting. You should go look it up. You said, I've known her. I called around. I had her come present this. That's what you said.
When I
Those
was
are your
giving-
words.
I know it. You can go back and listen.
Yeah, I
That's
did.
one
I
thing
have.
about me. I'm not gonna lie about it. When I called Leslie, I was giving Leslie's name.
Okay.
I didn't even know her last name. I know Leslie from a child. She's from Margaretha. We're Baker County. But that does not tie no type of relationship and really not even friendship. So don't hand me that. Don't do that. Please don't do that.
I'm just, for posterity.
I called Leslie
I get it.
really thinking she was going to appoint me to someone else. But she happened to be the person. I told her, we asked her if she would come talk to the city manager.
Okay.
So don't do that.
I'm just saying, because of those statements that were made in the last
Don't
meeting,
do
I think
it.
an RFP would
And
be
before I take any
fair.
of it back, I'll add to it because that does not tie us as relationship.
Okay, I get it.
If it did, I would gladly say, because I'm proud of that woman standing at that podium.
And you should be. You should be. You've done well.
Well, it ain't no shame about if it was a relationship. I would say it, because your people stand here
My people stand here, but again, I've never asked.
for a good friend.
I've never asked for a
Don't
contract
do
to be
that.
given to somebody who I know outside of this chamber
Don't say it.
without it going through RFP.
That's not true.
Well, please name an instance.
We can get past this.
No, I would-
I'm not related to
Name an
Miss
instance.
Leslie.
I understand that, but you made the statement in the no, this is on topic. You made the statement in the last meeting that you called around and you'd known her since she was a child. You said that, and so
But
I think that
I think the context is that
When she was a child, sure.
yeah, I think the context there is that the work that we're doing in Baker County, she heard that it was me that was doing that work. That's where the context of her having known me. So when she recognized that it was myself that was handling the work in Baker County, it was more of, oh, I recognize you, I know you. Can you come and present a proposal? Not, because I know you, I want to give this to you. Like she said, she didn't even know my last name. So that kind of tells you the arm's length transaction. When she first called, it was basically, what are you doing in Baker County? Can you come and tell us about it?
Sure. I think that
Leslie, when did you come out of school?
High school?
Yes.
1989.
19 who?
89.
I don't appreciate that.
I'm just saying for
Just saying,
for
because
protection of the
y'all
council.
grasping for straws.
No, I'm not grasping for straws. I think
You
it's
are.
good transparency
You are.
to go
I'm
for an
very
RFP.
transparent.
Yes.
Mayor, point of order, let's stick to the topic and,
Sure, this is part of the topic. I think that the RFP I'm advocating for the RFP,
yes,
obviously.
sir, I love the fact that you're advocating for that.
Of
but
course.
We're not gonna, we're yelling and screaming,
I'm not yelling or screaming about anything.
please, Mayor.
Mr. Carter has had his hand up, and then we'll come down.
Mr. Mayor, I'd just like to ask Ms. Young or anyone else who is opposed to the RFP process, why you are. Why not put it out to bid?
It stands. I'm not changing it.
Thank you.
Ms. Harris.
I have a question, Miss Leslie, so we can be clear on you and Miss Young's relationship. Have y'all ever went fishing together?
Never.
Have y'all ever went to a dance together?
Never.
You ever went out to eat together?
Never.
Okay, so y'all ain't never had no kind of bond or anything together?
Never.
You might have just knew her name like she knew your name?
Absolutely.
And that was the extent of your relationship?
Yes.
I understand that, but I'm just going by the words that were said in the last meeting.
Well, we just cleared it up.
Okay.
We just cleared
Mr. Jernigan, you got something?
Yes, I just want to move on with whatever the attorney said that we can do. There's two ways we could do it, right?
Yes, Mr. Attorney.
So let's do it like the attorney say. That way, nobody fall into I know, she know. We won't be violating any laws, any rules. If we decide to go that way, I don't know which way we're going to go. But let's stick to what Mr. Martin has suggested or recommended. And hopefully we'll come up with a consensus, or either way, it's fine with me.
Can we get
Ms. Harris.
Ms. Brenda back up to the podium? Ms. Brenda, last week you stated that we did not have to do the RFP if we
determine
affordable housing.
If we determine that it is a P3, that it falls under a P3 project.
Do you believe it falls up under that?
I think it could possibly fall up under that. However, there are statutory requirements that have to be met to do it as a P3 project.
There would have to be skin in the game from both entities, right?
I wouldn't say necessarily skin.
Well, not skin. Okay, so investments made by both. Would a contract out, accepting somebody's contract, would that be considered a P3?
It would have to serve a public purpose. Affordable housing could serve a public purpose. I think Clay may want to add to that.
Mr. Martin.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So spent a little bit of time in the books over the past couple of weeks on this, and the one thing that is abundantly clear is when the legislature used the word partnership, they did not intend that it have anywhere close to the meaning that you would look to a partnership as a legal relationship in terms of, two people having equal ownership, equal decision-making power, all of those things. When the legislature used the word partnership in the context of public-private partnerships, they kind of meant it in the loosest sense of the term, which is two entities, a city and a private entity working toward a common goal using their respective resources in some fashion. And so the statute is intentionally flexible. The counterbalance to that is if, as we have in this context, someone is bringing a proposition to us, an unsolicited proposal, the trade-off is that there are some very definite and specified and elevated requirements for the city council to both give notice to the public that you're doing this, that the proposal meets certain statutory criteria in terms of the elements it has to contain, that the city council have to make certain very specific findings relative to the public purpose being served and that sort of thing. And so that's kind of the trade-off. You get the loose meaning of partnership. You get the flexibility to put that agreement between the public entity and the private entity You get to develop that relationship in a very flexible way, but the city has to go through the process of making sure that it can articulate to the public why that benefits them. And then you also have as part of that, of course, the terms of the written contract that ultimately has developed itself. And I don't think at this point, we've had a conceptual level presentation, and the next step typically would be the preparation of a more definite proposal. And then once that is received, then you'd start the triggers for some of the public notices, public hearings, opportunities for public comment, negotiation of a final contract, et cetera, if that's the way it progressed with the council.
Thank you, Mr. Martin. Mr. Carter.
Thank you, Mr. Martin. I feel like.
Thank you, Brenda.
Sorry?
She was standing up there all the time. I was telling her, let her know she could sit down.
Oh, thank you, Brenda. I feel like, and we discussed this before as well, but the loose definition of that does feel like you could kind of apply it to a whole lot of stuff, because ideally, basically everything we do here should be for the public good. Therefore, you could probably find a way to construe that in such a way that we could hire whoever for whatever, and you can get fancy language and make sure it says public good, right? But that offers a look of impropriety to the community that I think is completely absolved upon us if we just have an RFP for the process. Clearly, there's a majority opinion at the moment on a certain subject. So we can have an RFP, we can have 10 Ps, right? We still have to vote to choose one. And at that point, if we've seen 10 proposals, and theirs is still your favorite, little old me over here, Mr. Mayor, can't stop the council from voting 3-2 to hire them. And quite frankly, there's no telling that we aren't convinced to choose them as well.
Hey, let me interrupt you right quick. When you say you and him, I work for the mayor too. I work with the mayor too. He's a very, very good friend of mine. So you say you and the mayor, hell, y'all friends, I'm friends with him too, okay? So make sure you include me in on whatever you got going on.
I just hadn't necessarily gotten the impression on where you stood on this issue yet.
Yeah, well, I don't know. That's what I said.
Sure. So my whole point, and that's why I said, why not do an RFP? It clears up the impropriety. It makes it very clear, and it's the same thing. We're asking for the same thing. We're just asking for more people to give us options and ideas as well. Maybe no one else does. I mean, I really have a hard time understanding why we wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
And that's why I asked why you would be against it.
Thank you, Mr.
I think the citizens of Lake City deserve to know why you wouldn't want that process. Now, you don't have to answer it, but I think that they deserve to know that.
Ms. Young.
Yeah. So, first of all, we're talking about feelings, and you had a room full of people who had feelings, and you didn't have sympathy for them. So don't burn us about your feelings. You know, it's so obvious. You know, I don't even have to go that far. It was intentionally kept off of the agenda, like we wasn't going to read it. And I know that's the old saying, but I just look like this, I read. Notice it wasn't on the agenda. Then you want background checks. Then you need to hire a consultant. Oh, you need a housing study. Oh, it's not a P3, but what changed from the last time Miss Brenda stood at that podium and a P3 was, oh, we're right on. It's good. What changed, Miss Brenda?
I would like to say for the record, I'm not familiar with proposals that are considered to be P3s because I've never done one before. I had discussion with Clay about it. We both came to a mutual agreement that it could fall under a P3. It doesn't matter either way we go to me, whatever is in the best interest of the city.
That should, and that's fine, I respect that, but that should have been in the initial, and we wouldn't be here with this. So it's just, we just need to be Just say what, if you don't know, say you don't know. There's nothing wrong with saying, I don't know, I need to look more into it. And we wouldn't be here with this discussion, and no disrespect, Ms. Brown. But it just doesn't give a good appearance when you say one thing one week and then the next week is different.
I think an RFP is the cleanest way to go, but we're still working on consensus. Mr. Warren, please. Come on.
This may help.
Just 30
just 30 seconds, all I need. Mr. Mayor, and we were just talking. If you move forward with a P3, right? My company in Vanessa, time and time again, has presented this council with a P3. And this council have not given us the opportunity to buy into our P3 as locals, and you got an outsider. You know me, Mayor. You know Ms. Carter. I'm going to file lawsuits. I am going to sue the shit out the city. And I'm telling you, everything y'all just said, just open everything up for my lawyer.
Thank you, Mr. Warren.
All right.
That's why I suggested an RFP. It cleans it all up. It clears that road.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
furthermore, at our workshop, we had quite a few citizens show up. The only citizens who spoke made it clear that that was how they felt too. I don't think we had any citizens show up that said we'd like our council to hire someone without doing due diligence ahead of time. I think.
And we didn't have none otherwise.
Yeah, we did. We had 6 people talk, and they all talked, and they all agreed with what I have said.
Miss Young.
Because that came up earlier, that we don't talk to constituents. We don't talk to people in the community, but we do.
That's not what I said. I said that showed up to this
Hold
meeting.
on. Let her finish.
I didn't say that. You're not listening. Cool down. Calm down. I said it was said earlier. You said that and bust out that jacket if you want. I said it was said earlier. Calm down. I talk to other people. I've gotten quite a few calls concerning this. I don't just go on a decision of my own.
I've had a bunch as well.
Okay, my
Ms.
thing
Harris.
of it is, you're talking about doing the P3. I wasn't here, Mr. Warren, when you and Vanessa came up here to show your presentation for when y'all wanted to do y'all housing thing.
got it.
I wasn't here.
You were here. The city
Let's not have a back and forth.
No, I wasn't here when they voted on it. On yours?
You won't even bring it to the table to vote.
Okay. So, the reason, soon as I got in here, one of the things that I ran off of was housing. We have talked, and I've been here for a whole year. Nobody else has come up with anything, and when I say nobody else, I'm talking about council. Nobody else has come up with nobody coming in and to talk as a talking point or none of that. So soon as we get someone to come in and give an idea, now all of a sudden everybody is Johnny on the spot. We need to do this, that, and the other. Where were you 6, 7, 8 months ago when it was when people were complaining we don't have housing? The incident that happened with Cedar Park, prime example. They're moving these people all the way to Tallahassee because there is no affordable housing. And affordable housing is not $1,500 a month, not even $1,000 a month. So now that no, I don't want to keep pushing this down the road. We come back and say, well, we need to do a consensus. Then that'll take 3 months. Then we need to do another study. Then that's going to take and then, before we know it, it's going to be a whole nother year. Whole nother year. When we already had 1 year for each one of us to come up with an idea, and nobody came up with an idea. But as soon as somebody come up with an idea with some direction of how we can do this, everybody want to have an opinion to talk about whatever. That is my thing.
It's an interesting thought. Mr. Rosenthal, I'll ask you, how many meetings have you and I sat in with developers?
Quite a few.
Yeah.
Unbeknownst to the rest of
But
us. So,
correct. Correct.
any-
But I've also not brought anything in front of us to vote on because I was leaving it to administration to vet through and go through the motions.
Well, that'll be on
So-
you, Mayor, if you did not push them to bring that.
If I may.
Hold on, Mr. Rosenthal, please.
If I may, some of the things that we talked about with developers and things were private things that they weren't common knowledge
Yeah,
at
they're
the
not,
time.
and they're not also not trying to work with the city. They're working around the city. There's some of these projects that we've seen tonight that are part of that 1,000 houses coming into our market. But please
There you
continue,
have
Mr. Rosenthal. But there have been some approach to the city, and that's when I give it to the city administration and I step away because I don't want to bring it and keep pushing it.
But I am going to say this. I wasn't here behind the diocese when Mr. Warren and them came up with their idea of whatever they were gonna do. But if they would have come when I was up here and they're saying $800 a month and $900 a month for 3 and 4 bedrooms, I probably would have said yes. But since the council and the mayor at that time did not move forward on it, and now somebody is here giving us a proposal or what have you, I think we need to move forward on it.
Consensus.
Instead of kicking it down the road.
Yes, sir, Mr. Carter.
I just want to be clear. I think I've been pretty clear from the start, as long as we've been talking about this, and as long as I've been on the council and it's come up, that I don't really think that, generally speaking, housing is the government's responsibility.
Well, thank you for your thoughts.
I've been very clear on that. As a matter of fact, leaning into looking into some of these projects is me reaching across the aisle quite a lot. And to be clear, I know for a fact I represent the opinions of a lot of my constituents in District 13.
And you don't think the rest of us,
Let him-
the rest of us have
sorry.
constituents that have concerns
let him
as
finish,
well?
Ms. Harris. Let him finish.
All I can do is represent my district, and all I can do is be honest with my opinions. But to be clear, I haven't not had ideas for housing. I have opposed most of the ideas from housing because I don't think it's our responsibility to build apartment complexes. I don't think it's our responsibility to build houses for people. I don't think that's what we're supposed to do. I do think there are things that we can do to make it easier for other people and for private enterprise to solve those problems. And I've been very consistent about that the entire time you and I have been in here. So to be clear, I've not kicked any cans. I just think that most of the stuff that we need to do has got nothing to do with most of the stuff that we've been trying to do.
Housing isn't one of the things that we need to do?
Housing is an issue.
Creating an environment.
You solve the issue is where we differ clearly.
Okay, we keep saying about government this and government that. The government helps a lot of times when individuals or either businesses and stuff don't do what they're supposed to do or are helping the citizens and stuff. Government has stepped out and did a lot of things. So let's not use that as a crutch.
Consensus.
Right. Well, let's, I guess, go ahead and just give a consensus on what you think. So there are two distinct ideas here, Mr. Martin. You had those listed out. One of them was to create a P3 partnership, right? What does that look like?
So as I understood it, the two items that were where council members were seeking consensus was Mr. Carter's proposition that the council proceed with, or the city administration proceed with preparing and soliciting proposals for a housing study to determine what the city's housing needs are. So that was one proposal. The second one was for Mrs. Young, where she was seeking consensus from the council to direct me and the city manager to cooperate with Precept to develop their proposal. I'm thinking under the P3 statute. That wasn't specified, but within the context of the conversation, I think that's what was intended. I'll let Ms. Young clarify that. So,
Ms. Young, did you want to clarify that?
Get a consensus vote.
That's what we're working on. He's got. Will you?
I just want to clarify that when you say that to cooperate with them in developing their proposal, when you use the word proposal, you're using it in the context of a P3, correct? To help them develop a proposal under a public-private partnership.
Is that what
I have no other word for proposal, but I just do want to be clear that that's what the intent is. Yes, okay.
Mr. Carter.
I have a question. Mr. Martin, cooperating with them as they prepare a proposal is effectively answering questions if they call, providing data if they call, like we might with many people who were trying to prepare a proposal?
Yes.
Okay. Well, here's my question, and maybe it can get us to some form of consensus. I don't mind at all staff cooperating with them while they prepare a proposal. If anybody else wants to call and start preparing a proposal, I would like you to answer their questions too. So my question is, can we have consensus in that staff can cooperate with them while they prepare a proposal? And we also put out an RFP for a housing study. We may get the study back before or during. There's no good reason to not get the study. And it's not stopping staff from cooperating with them as they prepare a proposal. That feels very fair.
And it basically encompasses both scenarios.
Excuse me.
Well, let's go down the row. Get a consensus. We'll start with you, Mr. Jernigan.
It's just like you to start with me. I like that, man. I told you we were friends. I told you that.
I think it was her. Should have started with her.
Yep, sorry. Wait, hold on a second. Yes, ma'am.
Would you like me to read back what they're considering so that they're clear on what they're considering, or?
Yeah, and we'll start with Ms. Young if you guys prefer.
Okay, the first thing would be proceeding with an RFP on the housing issue. The second item would be a consensus for City Attorney Martin and City Manager Rosenthal to cooperate with Precept to develop a P3 proposal based on concepts presented to council. So those are the two items that we are asking for consensus on. Is that correct?
Sounds like it.
Second one. Second.
So she chose the second one, is what she said. Yeah.
You want
Let me
to
see
read
what
it
you
again?
have again.
A consensus to have City Attorney Martin, City Attorney Martin, City Manager Rosenthal to cooperate with Precept to develop a P3 proposal based on concepts presented to council.
And come back for a vote.
So when we come back for a vote, that'll be on the next agenda.
Yeah, whenever they have it,
December the 1st.
if they have it prepared on December 1st, yes.
Mr. Mayor, to
If that's a
clarify,
consensus. Yes, sir, Mr. Martin.
The lift on a proposal is not light, and I don't know that the council would want to lock Precept into a timeline with that. So it would be to cooperate with them, and whenever they're prepared to come back with their proposal, I would.
Yep, if that's the
suggest.
consensus. Does that make sense?
As they develop.
So they don't only get a P3.
Right.
Their development.
As they develop, right.
Ms. Young, the second item. is
Yes.
yours. Okay. Mr. Carter,
What's the question?
which the choice of what we've laid out here is an RFP for a housing study or Ms. Young's item, number 2, the P3, guiding city administration to work with Precept to create a partnership.
I would like city administration to cooperate with anyone who reaches out to them trying to prepare something for this. And if someone else
Two.
brings one, I would like us to consider it also.
Okay. And the RFP or no?
Oh, I think we absolutely should take get a housing study. I think that's super obvious how I feel
We
about that.
voting on one or two.
You can agree to both.
Yeah.
You want to reconsider the RFP or no? Okay. Ms. Harris.
I'm gonna vote yes on 2.
Okay. To work with Precept. Mr. Trenigan.
I'm gonna ask the city manager, what do you consider?
I I like both proposals. In view of the static here tonight, I don't think that should be a city manager's decision. I think that should be a decision by this board.
I know that. I just want to know your opinion. Yeah, I got you.
Well, I like the concept that Leslie had. I personally like the concept.
Well,
but I'm
that's,
not.
that's going to be me. I'm going with the number 2. I think it's number 2. Okay? Thank you, Mr. Rosenthal. I can't do nothing without you, man. You and D. Johnson.
You're gonna get me fired.
Not bad.
Yeah, absolutely.
In 2026.
For a, just to round it out, I would think that working with anybody who brought a proposal forward, and I'm all in favor of RFPs for a clean process. So it sounds like consensus is to work with Precept to bring that to a future vote, but there were other options. All right. That concludes item number 14. We're on to new business, and we'll take a 5-minute break.
man. Let's do it, let's do it.
My cousin Ricky, he was the one I presented.
Welcome back to our regularly scheduled city council meeting of November 17th, 2025. We are now into new business of ordinances. City council ordinance number 2025-2343 is up first. Mr. Martin, will you please read that by title?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Council members, you have before you ordinance number 2025-2343, an ordinance of the City of Lake City, Florida, amending Chapter 70, Article 4 of the City of Lake City Code of Ordinances entitled Police Officers Pension Plan and Trust Fund, amending Section 70-96 of the City of Lake City Code of Ordinances entitled Service Retirement Benefits Cost of Living Adjustment by adding option for partial lump sum benefit, adding Section 70-106 for the purpose of purchasing prior military service, adding a new Section 70-107 for the purpose of purchasing prior police service, providing for severability, providing for codification, providing for correction of scrivener's errors, and providing an effective date.
Thank you, Mr. Martin. We do have Mr. Warren signed up for public participation. Nope. All right, we'll close public participation on that one, and we'll move straight into city council comments, questions, thoughts.
Mr. Mayor, move to approve City Council Ordinance 2025-2343.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. I heard Mr. Jernigan first. Any other comments, questions? Hearing none, Ms. Sykes, will you please call the roll?
Mr. Carter?
Yay.
Mr. Jernigan?
Yes.
Ms. Young? Ms. Harris?
Yes.
Mayor Walker?
Yes. All right, moving on to resolutions. We are now on item 16 of our agenda, and that's City Council Resolution number 2025-135. Mr. Martin, will you please read this one by title?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Council members, you have before you resolution number 2025-135, a resolution of the City of Lake City, Florida, establishing its intent to reimburse certain project costs incurred with proceeds of future tax exempt financings, providing certain other matters in connection therewith, providing an effective date.
Thank you, Mr. Martin. Mr. Warren, would you like to speak to this one?
No, sir, just to be clear, I'm only gonna speak to item 20, so.
Okay, thank you. All right. We'll close public comment. Mr. Warren was the only person I had signed up for this one, so we will move to council comments, questions.
Mr. Mayor, move to approve City Council Resolution 2025-135.
We have a motion and a second. Thank you both. Do we have any further comments, questions? Hearing none, Ms. Sykes, will you please call the roll?
Mr. Carter?
Yay.
Ms. Harris?
Yes.
Ms. Young?
Ms. Young?
Oh, yes. I'm
Okay.
sorry, I
Mr.
had to
Jernigan?
sneeze.
Yes.
Mayor Walker?
Yes. Moving on to item number 17, City Council Resolution number 2025-146. This is the agreement with Red Speed to enforce school zones. We've had waived public comment on this, so we'll move directly into council comments, questions.
Mr. Mayor, move to approve City Council Resolution 2025-146.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Thank you both. Any further comments, questions? Hearing none, Ms. Sykes, will you please call the roll?
Mr. Carter?
Yay.
Mr. Jernigan?
Yes.
Ms. Young?
Yes.
Ms. Harris?
Yes.
Mayor Walker?
Yes. Moving into item number 18, we are on City Council Resolution number 2025-154. This is budget amendments for fiscal year 2024-2025. Mr. Warren has declined to speak on this one, so we're moving directly into council comments, questions.
Mr. Mayor, move to approve City Council Resolution 2025-154.
Second.
Thank you for the motion and second. Any further questions, comments? I'll mention this. I really appreciated the list of budget amendments and their descriptions. It was very helpful in the packet. Appreciate you guys. Ms. Sykes, will you please call the roll?
Mr. Carter?
Yay.
Mr. Jernigan?
Yes.
Ms. Young?
Yes.
Ms. Harris?
Yes.
Mayor Walker?
Yes. Now we're on to item number 19, which is City Council Resolution number 2025-155. This is an agreement with FDEP for administration of federal grant funds. We have a declination for public comment on this one, so we will move straight into council comments, questions.
Mr. Mayor, I move to approve City Council Resolution 2025-155.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Thank you both. Any further comments, questions? Hearing none, Ms. Sykes, please call the roll.
Mr. Carter?
Yay.
Mr. Jernigan?
Yes.
Ms. Young?
Yes.
Ms. Harris?
Yes.
Mayor Walker?
Yes. Now we're moving on to item number 20, City Council Resolution number 2025-161. This is a resolution authorizing the city manager to issue trespass warnings and orders related to real property owned or leased by the city. We do have public comment on this, so I'll go ahead and open up public comment and open the floor to you, Mr. Warren.
Mr. Mayor, Council, I am completely at a loss as to why we are giving the city manager the authority, from what it looks like, to authorize to issue trespassers warning to public property that's owned by taxpayers. You can't trespass people out of public property. I just went with that with the city when they tried to trespass me from the Richardson Community Center. I prevailed with now City Attorney of Suwannee County, Adam. Am I misunderstanding what you're asking for in this? What does this do?
To transfer from the city council issuing a trespass to the city manager.
To trespass who?
Trespass. Mr. Martin, would you like to speak to this?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So the background on this is at the police department recently, there were a number of homeless individuals who decided to actually set up camp. They were having their actual personal deliveries for medical supplies delivered there by couriers. And in looking in the city's records, there was no one other than the city council that could issue any sort of trespass warning to them. They were not there on the property for the purposes for which the property and that space is intended and managed. And so the reason this is before you is to authorize the city manager to be able to issue warnings whenever someone is present on public property, in a public building in particular, for some purpose other than that which the property and the building is intended.
So this is for homeless people only?
It is not homeless only, but
No. And that's my point, Mayor. Stop giving, the council is giving too much power to the city manager. Y'all have already allowed him to have the ability to give merit raises, which in my opinion, all that does is buy loyalty, right? So giving him that type of authority to say who can and can't be in there, that's opening up a slippery slope. That's opening up Pandora's box. If someone needs to be called and dealt with a trespassing issue, it should go through the legal proper channels. The board should not be amending things that should be law enforcement job or something that should go to the Third Circuit. You're creating a clusterfuck. I'm just telling you, like this is unreal. And I feel like it's not just targeted toward the homeless people. This is something that would be used against people like me who come down, who voice their opinion, who Rosenstahl, if you disagree with him, you notice how arrogant he becomes. The guy have already tried to come and fight me before. If you disagree with him and you're not on his side, then he can misuse this potential provision that you're giving him. This is not a good way to do government. This is not. There's other ways. I would ask that you table this, have the in-house attorney, who Mr. Rosenstahl want for this purpose, I believe, to go back and redraft something that is specific to people who do that, not just to have blanket authority to just stop people from coming into public buildings or trespassing them. That's him being law enforcement. He's not law enforcement. That is too much authority given to one person for that cause. I vehemently oppose it. And I think anybody with good background in government, understanding the Constitution law, that should not be the case. That should not be the case, Mayor. And I ask that either you or somebody ask that we table this issue.
Thank you, Mr. Warren. All right, we'll move into council comments, questions.
Mr. Mayor, I would like to move to table this. I'd like to learn a little bit more, speak with the manager, attorney, and police chief on the matter.
We have a motion to table.
Second.
We have a second. Do we have any further discussion?
I do.
Sure.
I don't think this is I think we should go forward with it. It's on the agenda for a reason. I think that the agenda prep, I'm pretty sure that everybody talked about this. And it's not, and to go after one person or giving somebody authority, somebody's got to do this. And Mr. Rosenthal, he's the, basically the CEO. I don't know why wouldn't we give him that approval to, and he's very discreet. It's not like he's gonna ban everybody from coming to a property building or whatever. The man's got several degrees, and he's all about dollars and cents. So this would make sense to me to give him that authority, and I'm pretty sure the city attorney has looked up this and came up with this. That this is something that us as councils, we shouldn't have to deal with this. We give the city manager that approval to prove something like this. I mean, that's. It's not like you got to go get an RPF or anything. So this is simple. This is good. I mean, Supervisor 101. I mean, I say that we should keep the resolution as written and approve it.
Thank you, Mr. Jernigan. Ms. Young, we have a motion in a second.
I know we can't single anyone out and say this is only for the homeless or this is only for this person or for that person.
Right.
We definitely can't do that. But I have a question where you're saying this all derived from homeless people on city property and.
Yes, sir, Mr. Martin.
What brought it to light was that there were certain homeless people who were actually not just spending the night on a cold night in the police department, but had actually been there for several days on end continuously. And I don't know whether they ultimately left or not. I think Chief talked to them and they ultimately may have departed, I'm not sure. But what it brought to light was that the owner of the property, for purposes of being to issue any sort of directive to law enforcement to issue a trespass order, the owner of the property is this board. If there is an immediate need to give direction to issue that order, theoretically it could take up to 2 weeks for something to come to this board and this board vote to have law enforcement issue a trespass order to someone who is trespassing. So the purpose in this was to allow the city manager as the CEO for the city to be able to act immediately whenever someone is on property of the city for some purpose other than that for which the property is designated. And I would concede that does grant broad latitude to the city manager. I don't dispute that. But it's also impossible to come up with every possible permutation of facts for why somebody may be trespassing or on property for a purpose other than for which the property is intended. But that's what brought this ultimately to the council tonight was to try to remedy that. To Mr. Jernigan's point, this actually did not go through agenda review because this just happened last week and it was something that was felt needed to be immediately addressed. And so it was actually put on the agenda in very short order, and so it was not discussed in the agenda review meeting. And I certainly would understand if the council wanted to table it to get further information. But absent designating some individual that can act immediately, it would mean that it would have to come to this board to actually issue that directive.
So, being that, and I understood you to say because we don't own the property as the board, but we're the representatives. So if in order for me to get a trespassing at my property, I have to go through the courts.
Well, no, you as an individual can tell law enforcement and can warn somebody, you're trespassing, I don't want you on my property.
Okay. So instead of him having to go through law enforcement, you just move law enforcement out and he take care of the,
So the offense is trespass after warning. That is the criminal offense. This is to issue the trespass warning, saying we're giving you warning that if you come back, you're trespassing.
Okay.
And so that's the intent of this, is to issue that warning to someone so they leave, but if they come back, then that's when the criminal offense would occur. Am I?
criminal?
Wouldn't that be
If it's trespass after they've been warned not to trespass and come on the property, then at that point
Then it goes through law enforcement.
then it would become a crime and get reported to law enforcement. But you can't get to that stage if you don't have an authorized person to give the warning.
Right, I mean, that's.
okay.
Thank you, Mr. Martin.
Wouldn't that go up on the loitering? If they're in a public place hanging out and they're not supposed to be there, wouldn't that go up on the loitering? And
Possibly, but that would not be the equivalent of issuing a trespass order as the owner of property. And you as the board are the custodial owners of property, like City Hall, other properties we own. You actually sit in the capacity as a board as the owner of that land.
okay, the reason why I think that we should table it, because the way it's worded, it is too vague. It's too vague for me. So I think that we should table it and.
Okay, we've had a motion and a second. We're on final comments, questions.
Yeah, I just want to be clear with my motion. I only want to table it until the December 1st meeting. I just, like I said, it was added late. I didn't have the opportunity to talk with folks like I would on the other things. I'd like to learn a little bit more. I'm not saying we don't do it. I'm saying I'd like to learn a little more, that's all. So I think bring it back to the next meeting. Give me and the rest of the board time to chat with staff about it.
All right. Ms. Sykes, will you please, you go ahead.
And that's the that's the concept people have when they don't have I guess law enforcement background, or it's just like if you at your house and you tell somebody to leave, you can trespass that person because that's your residence. It's the same exact thing. We got to have somebody there to say you're trespassing in order for for law enforcement to get involved. So it's just a step, it's a process. He just tells them to leave, they come back, then he gets law enforcement involved. I mean, we can talk about it for about 4 hours if you want. You know, it's only 9:20 now, so.
No, we're gonna table it.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any further comments, questions? Hearing none, Ms. Sykes, please call the roll.
Mayor, I just wanted to clarify, we're
Please.
motioning to table Resolution 2025-161 to the December 1st meeting.
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Carter?
Yay.
Ms. Harris?
Yes.
Ms. Young? Yes. Mr. Jernigan?
No.
Mayor Walker?
Yes. All right. That concludes our agenda items. So now we will move into comments by our charter officers, beginning with you, Mr. Rosenthal.
Mayor, I don't have any comments tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Rosenthal. Mr. Attorney Clay Martin.
No comments, Mr. Mayor.
Ms. Audrey Sykes.
No comment.
Vice Mayor Shabella Young.
Yeah, I would just like, Mayor, no disrespect, but when it comes to this agenda, I just think you're giving yourself too much authority. You oversee the agenda, but you don't dictate the agenda. Am I correct, Attorney? Oh, Attorney.
I can't remember the exact.
If a council person wants something, asks that something go on the agenda, right? Or even like today, that was the reason for us changing the date of the other workshop to get this one, so we didn't have to go to December, right? To get a vote. But still, it got pushed out. I'm just using that for an example. And I don't know if anybody else, but it's happened to me like 2 or 3 times. And if it's an oversight, I understand. But it happened too many times for it to be an oversight. I think we all participate in adding to the agenda. If I'm wrong, tell me.
The charter states that the mayor shall set forth the agenda. I never block anybody's items, but what I do is move those to discussion first to make sure that we amply vet those out. Does that make sense, Mr. Martin? That is the language.
Set forth is the language,
Sure.
yes.
So we do have these agenda prep meetings, which everybody gets the items that are coming off. It's about 2 weeks in advance of it's emailed out. It just started here in October, at the beginning of October. So the agenda prep happens. It's usually things that are coming down the pipe. I try to make sure that these meetings don't last 3.5 hours. So that's why they're stacked the way they are. Sometimes there are things that become emergent or that we move onto agendas, which is why they get so stacked up and a little chaotic. But that is part of managing the chaos of government and trying to make sure that we all have fresh brains and that we're using our best cognitive ability up here on the dais. So that is why that happens. Yes, ma'am.
I have a question. If she is the vice mayor,
Mhm.
why wouldn't she be in on discussing the
We-
agenda?
So two of us, yeah. Sunshine laws wouldn't allow us both to be in those meetings. But specifically, the charter states that the mayor sets forth the agenda.
I get that, but I'm just, what if
If I was out, she
say for
would,
instance,
yeah.
If God forbid you get sick on Sunday, you can't make it Monday.
That's her.
And then she has to show up, and she's not abreast of too much of nothing on the agenda.
Was she? So we did start the process of making sure that we send those out. Right, it's usually the next day after agenda prep happens. So everybody should see what's coming. You should see what's coming out 2 meetings ahead. So, for instance, last week we had the agenda prep for December 1st. So everybody should have those items that are going to be on December 1st, so that you have ample time to prepare and know what's happening, as well as if you want to add discussion items, add those discussion items. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I think it leads to better governance, having that a little farther out in advance. Now you don't have all the backup until it's prepared by the departments. But again, you can start working through that if you can. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Ms. Young, Vice Mayor Young, you're still on your comments? Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Vice Mayor Young. Mr. Jernigan.
I just want to thank God for my police department and my fire department, finance, and all these other department heads. Just want to thank God for those people, man. They work all the time, tireless hours. Of course, I just inquired about the one officer who got shot. He's on light duty. So I just want to thank God for our fire department and the police department. And I had a constituent, she talked about a little bit about Jamaica, the relief funds or relief, whatever we could do for them. When she asked me about that, I told her to come to the council, and I will bring it up. So I don't know exactly what we're doing as a city as a whole for Jamaica because of the storm. But if we could orchestrate something, if it ain't nothing but water to send over there, fresh water, I appreciate that very much if we can get that orchestrated. But if not, I totally understand. I'll just start my own fund and relief to send whatever I can send to help that country out. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Jernigan. Mr. Carter.
I've got nothing.
Thank you, Mr. Carter. Ms. Harris.
Yes. For the parade, all right. When we're in the parade, we always have 2, 3 vehicles. You know, I had the pleasure of being on the back of that fire truck. I do not want to be on the back of that fire truck no more. Really? So, but I do think that us as being a council and the mayor, we need to be on something together. I think that we should be on it together, so it look like we're together, instead of being separated. So if, I don't know who we would talk to, maybe Steve could get us a trailer and decorate it and have us on the back of it or some sort. But I think that we should be, we should be together.
I love the fire truck.
You would love that fire truck.
I'm gonna be on the fire truck. But yeah, if the city is doing a float specifically for the Christmas parade, so if we wanted to either the fire truck or we just need to make sure they're in the same general area in the parade if we can. I think that'd be good.
And if we're in the same general area, you know, that way we can, the candy will be coming from collectively one vehicle passing it out. It won't be.
So if you're gonna pass out candy, you're gonna be walking, right? 'Cause
Yeah,
you
some of
can't
y'all
throw
gonna be
candy.
walking.
Can't throw candy.
Yeah, some of y'all gonna be walking.
Oh, I don't mind walking, but
I ain't gonna
I'm
be
just saying, we can't be throwing that candy out.
I ain't gonna be walking.
I'll work on that.
So are we gonna ask Steve to get us a decorate? And also, the county had their nice stuff in the parade. I think we should have some representation in the parade as well.
We did. We did.
We had a 100-year-old fire truck in the parade. It's pretty cool.
We do currently have plans to put our low boy in there, but
The big
as
boy.
of now, we're positioned to be right in front of the fire truck at the end where Santa's going to be at.
See if we can't move that up. Then we'll talk to Rotary.
Okay.
Please talk.
Thank you, Mr. Brown.
He was coming and said he was gonna decorate the floor.
Steve, you did agree about decorating the floor?
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Ms. Harris. Anything else?
No, that'd be it.
Thank you, Ms. Harris. All right. Couple things this week. Just answer Mr. Jernigan. I did speak with that constituent. I think that would be really advantageous for her to connect with Rotary. They're sending a lot of supplies over, and she wanted to create a food bank, and so I think that they would be a really good asset for her, both to collect and to send it over, because they have an active pipeline right now. So I have all intentions of connecting her to that group and any other group that I can. I just wanted to let everybody know that we have a hospital having a grand opening tomorrow in town. This is Clear Sky Rehabilitation Hospital. They do post-acute care rehabilitation. I have family that has been in that hospital here for the last couple of weeks. So I'm very excited about them having their grand opening, and hopefully you guys can all make it. Also wanted to let everybody know that we have Farm Share. So we have had some food insecurity in town, especially around SNAP and some of those benefits being cut off due to the government shutdown. But we will have Farm Share that will be loading cars thanks to the police department and the fire department. This will be November 22nd. The disbursement will begin at 8 a.m. So make sure that you guys are online if you're interested for that. Lake City Police Department will have a safety training for houses of worship. This is tomorrow after the Clear Sky grand opening. So if you want to make it to both, that's going to begin at 6 p.m. And then I just want to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving, since we won't meet till after Thanksgiving. And that's it.
Day is the day before.
Yeah, happy birthday.
Happy
All right.
birthday, Vice Mayor.
Can you have them